Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Umineko Chapter 6. This time, for the first time, Battler is the Game Master. He has resurrected himself and come back as a witch, and been granted such a title by Lambda Delta. He's now creating the next game, and he tried to resurrect Beatrice by creating her according to the rules she was made, but she's not quite the person he remembers her to be, and he's a little bit tilted. Let's see what's going on, because that's all we have so far. Nice and easy recap. How can I revive Beato? Her body's right here. How do I revive her soul? Genji is correct. If you give someone the same body, they'd have to live the same 1,000-year life to become the same Beatrice, the same person they were before. Are you telling me to wait 1,000 years? Is it really that long? You're an endless witch. 1,000 is hardly a trifle to you. Kumasawa spitting straight facts. A person's personality isn't decided solely by their birth. It changes drastically based on how they live and what they experience. Do you understand? Even though she's the same Beato, she's not the same? I get it. If you had two of the exact same person, they could change enormously depending on their upbringing. Yep. Does Battler end up sending her backwards in time, making Beatrice the Beatrice he knows via time travel? We haven't introduced time travel in this series yet. But I mean, maybe he doesn't remember his crime because he hadn't done it yet, but it was said it was 19 years ago. Did he send Beatrice 19 years into the past? It wasn't against Beatrice though. Ah, fuck. Oh well. So yeah, even though they might be both the same person to start with, their upbringing could change them so much they effectively become two completely different people. Usually we use the term person to refer to a person, not their personality, however. However, since humans recognize a person by their personality, those two might as well be different people from a human perspective. From a human perspective, it's true. If the tragedy 12 years ago hadn't happened to this little lady of ours, she might be a cute girl who could smile without looking weird. That's rude. She didn't say that's wrong. She said it's rude. I'm plenty cute as it is. Why isn't that in red? Why isn't that in red, NJ? Oh, right, we're in the overworld. Come on, NJ, you could have said that in red. I understand. If a personality is what makes a person in our eyes, you could probably say that a second personality represents a different person entirely, even if it inhabits the same flesh body. At the very least. I'm a completely different person than I used to be 12 years ago. If my family came home 12 years ago, the NJ that resulted from that would surely be a different person for me. Even a single human can become a different person. In fact, depending on their upbringing and endless possibilities, they can become an endless number of different people. So just because this is Beato, it's no guarantee she'll become the Beato that Oni-chan knows so well. On top of that, Beatrice is a witch who lived 1,000 years.
死ぬことだって生まれ変わることだってできる。
People can die and be reborn in just
そ
3
れが
days.
1000年じゃ。
あなたはなかなかで
A
きる読
thousand
者の
years
よう
is
で
a
すね。
huge amount of time. Seems you're quite a skilled reader.
波の読者相手だったら同一の人間であってもその生い立ちと時間によって
For most of my readers, it would be necessary to spend several hundred pages to explain.
別人になりうることを説明するために数百ページを割かねばならぬというの
How a
に
single person can become a different person depending on their upbringing and time? I mean, it's not a provable theory, but it seems sensible if you assume people are shaped by their experiences and not by some set variables. I mean, even if you consider that, like, life is... Even if you consider, like, that you're a human meat machine... You're a meat machine, and thus everything is more or less predetermined. It's still shaped by your environment. If your environment were different, you would become different. And you would probably act differently or become a different person based on how things are. I think it's very silly to assume that you'll always become the same person in the end, regardless of circumstances. That's kind of silly. It doesn't seem like an incredibly complicated fact either. I'm surprised it would take several hundred pages to explain that to someone.
あまり読者をなめないで。
Don't underestimate your readers.
私たちはただ読んでるだけじゃない。
We aren't just
読
reading.
んで考えてるの。
We read and we think. I don't think she
100
agrees.
人に読ませれば90人くらいは読める。
If I make 100 people read it, about 90 will be able
し
to.
かし意味がわかるのは50人。
50 will understand what it
そ
means.
してそこからさらに考えられるのは
And not even
20
20
人
will
もい
think
ない。
beyond that.
よく噛んで飲み込みなさいと。
All I ask is they think over it a bit.
ただそれだけの話なのに。
Nothing more than that.
しかしあなたはどうやらその貴重な20人の中の一人らし
However,
い
it。seems you are one of the precious 20 readers.
だからここへ招いたのです。人
That's
の
why
子
you're
よ。
here. That's why I invited you here, child of man. He was seriously hard to like this Hachijo Toya person. I mean, that was a little bit arrogant, but it's not the end of the world. Yeah, I generally think people are more than the characteristics they're born with, as that only really determines your starting situation in life. Everything else is up to your experiences. Depending on your perspective, this might be a controversial opinion. However, though this forgery she had written was still in its first stages, it definitely felt as though it contained something very similar to the tales in those message bottles. Speaking metaphorically, one might call it a scent, an indescribably unique and stern atmosphere like a stuffy library. The Beatrice who wrote the message bottles and the Hachijo Toya are different people. And yet, this has the same scent as that tale. Because she understands the mystery, right? That's what she said? I see. This is why some of those curious witch hunters are so intensely devoted to her. Her keen sense of smell was able to sniff out that familiar scent.
さ
Tell them.
どうぞ。
Please
続き
continue
を
reading.
読んで文字を追うあなたの顔を見るのが何よりも楽しいの。
There's nothing more entertaining than watching your face as you glance over the words.
そして言葉を交わし合うことも。
That and speaking with you.
物書きは感想に飢えてるってのは本当ね。
I guess it's true that writers are always starving for opinions on their works.
でも申し訳ないけど、こんな分厚い原稿を延々と読んでる時間はないの。
Sorry to disappoint you. I don't have time to read all the way through this thick manuscript.
それより、私はあなたに。
More importantly,
時間なんていくらでもあるで
and
し
yet
ょ
you
う
have
に。
plenty of time. And yet you have plenty of time. Both the second hand and the pendulum of the ornate clock behind Hachijo had been moving the whole time. However, absolutely no time had passed for a while. Only about 3 minutes had gone by since the time she had entered the room.
ね、
See?
時間など気にすることもないでしょ。
Time isn't one of your
あ
problems.
なたが読み終わるまで全ての時間は
No sort of time will chase you away until you've finished reading.
ああ、じゃあ次のページ次のページ。
Next page, lady. Next page. Moxa's an illusion, perhaps? Moxa badgered me to turn the page, so I returned to the world of the tale once more. He disappeared, right? I think he's an illusion. Why does her tail have the same scent as Beatrice's, I wonder? Is it because she actually reached the truth as she claimed? Guess we'll have to keep reading. Does this mean anyone who knows the truth could create an endless number of message bottles? Maybe if they're a good enough writer. Simply writing a story that follows the same rules is very different from writing as compelling a narrative. For example, anyone could write a mystery novel that follows Knox's 10 rules. That doesn't mean it would be as famous or good as some other mystery novels. Quality of the writing drastically impacts the perception of a book, right? Unless it does something very unique and very compelling. Is that how the Catbox world works? Maybe. I see. I guess she might also be an endless witch. In fact, maybe anyone who knows the truth can become an endless witch. An endless tale created by endless witches. 2 days starting on October 4th, 1986, where my family's being toyed with endlessly. I have to end it. I have to find a hint of the truth from within this story and end this endless tale.
What
do you think, Beto?
俺の作った第6のゲームは
How's this 6th game I've made?
まあ素直に褒めるやつじゃないもんな。
Well, you're not the type to give me an honest compliment
せい
anyway.
ぜい無能なりにそこそこ頑張ったではないか。
You'd probably say
ってとこ
something
だろ
like,
うぜ。
not bad for an incompetent fool like you.
無能なりにそこそこ頑張ったではないか。
Not bad for an incompetent fool like you. I think is she just parroting what he wants her to say?
ゲームマスターの立場になってよくわかったぜ。
Now that I've seen what it's like to be a game master, it's pretty
お
clear.
前も毎回随分と苦労してやがったんだってな。
I wasn't the only one who had it rough each and every game. Battler has never played a game of D&D in his life.
ゲームを作るのは楽なことではない。
Creating a game is far from
よ
easy.
もやそなたとそれをねぎらい合う日が来
I
ようとは
certainly
な。
never expected us to recognize each other's efforts like this.
ゲームを作るのは楽なことではない。
Creating a game is far
よ
from
も
easy.
やそなたとそれをねぎらい合う日が来ようとはな。
I certainly never expected us to recognize each other's efforts like this. All wrong.
違う。こんなのは
This isn't
ベアトじゃ
Beato.
ない。
Yep. Battler slammed hard on the desk, but the piece Beato showed no reaction. After all, Battler hadn't ordered her to react. It would be easy to revive that Beato as a piece. However, it would only move according to Battler's wishes. Having a conversation with it was no different from talking to himself. The Game Master could summon any kind of piece. He could move these pieces in any way he wanted, reigning as an absolute god. However, for that very reason, they were just pieces. It made it unbelievably lonely. Battler has finally realized that pieces are pieces and not people. It took him becoming the Game Master to understand that. It's lonely and sad.
お前はたくさんの家具たちやいろいろな物語を紡ぎ出してきた。
You created many kinds of furniture as well as several tales in the
俺
past.
はそれを見てお前はきっとさぞや楽しいだろうなと思
When I
った。
saw that, I was sure you were having a great time doing it.
だが違
だが違
う。
う。
But that's all wrong.
お前は信じられないくらいに孤
You
独
were
だったんだ。
unbelievably lonely. Of course.
お前にとって俺という自らに反逆する対戦相手がどれほど愉快なものか。
It must have been such a relief for you having an opponent like me who could actually go against you. Yeah, it would have been nice, wouldn't it?
今の俺には 痛いほど理解できる。
I'm painfully aware of that now. You can make anything, but not thinking living beings. I see. You're a god, but a god that cannot create life.
礼儀正しいおかしなベアとは
That weird, polite Beato.
確かにお前なんだろうな。
It really was you, wasn't she?
1000年前の
The way you were 1,000 years ago.
しかし
And yet,
別人だ。
she's a different person.
お前の姿に瓜二つだからこそむしろ許せない。
The way she looks just like you is what I really can't get over.
辛い
I can't stand
し
it.
かしコマではないから
However, she's
俺
into
の意
peace,
志に背ける。
so she can go against my will.
コマのお前なんかよりあのベアトの方がはるかに血は通ってるだろうぜ。
That Beato is so much more alive than a piece
そ
like
れは
you.
認める。
I get it.
だが違うんだ。
It's all
あ
wrong.
れはお前じゃない。
It's not
お
you.
前の生き別れの妹か何かで全くの別人なんだ。
She's a completely separate person, like a long-lost little sister or
だから
something.
むしろ
That's why
どうしても受け入れられない。
I just can't accept her. As much as he hated the peace version of Beato, Battler felt an even stronger dislike for the chick Beato. Even after a whole 1,000 years, she still wouldn't become the original Beato. Even if she were ordered to act like the original Beato, it would just be an imitation. It was a very similar but separate person, and definitely not Beato herself. So, in the previous game, Beato really did disappear for all eternity. Even after becoming Game Master, there was no way to revive her.
笑えよ。
I mean, you could become an even more powerful witch. Seek to figure out if the limits of your power can be expanded such that you can encompass pulling people back from the Well of Souls or wherever the fuck they go when they die. Or afterlife, wherever.
この無様な俺を。
Laugh at how pathetic I am. I mean, Beatrice claimed to be able to resurrect people by reaching into the realm of the dead. Whether or not that was true, there are at least two more tiers of which you can ascend to, Battler. Perhaps one of those holds the answer. Or perhaps you just haven't looked hard enough. Laugh at how pathetic I am. Every day, Battler becomes more and more like Kinzo. Obsessed with Beatrice, the woman who's gone. Just give it a rest already. You're an illusion who won't laugh unless I order it. And who can't even continue laughing unless I keep on ordering it. Just disappear. Someone's salty about that. And Beatrice's gone. On Rockinjima this day, or rather this round, was the same as any other. The typhoon would be coming soon. The sky was still overcast, but the clouds were moving quickly. Clouds spinning quickly? That'd be interesting. Rotating on the spot. We have a tornado coming? The only thing on Natsuhi's mind was the plan to cover up Kinzo's absence again this year. Kraus appeared to have suffered a stomach ache from the stress and was sleeping in his room. Okay, so are we getting into things? The boat captain's delivering people off. Jessica and Kumasawa left in a boat to go shopping and greet the incoming relatives on Nijima. The servants had been busy since the early morning preparing for the family conference, the greatest event of the year. Shannon and Canon were rushing to get to the guest house. Get the guest house ready. Okay. So the usual stuff.
親族の方々を止めるなら、お屋敷の客室で十分だろうに。
If the relatives are going to stay the night, shouldn't the guest rooms in the mansion be more than enough?
そうね。
Good
こっ
point.
ちのお掃除大変だもんね。
It's a real pain to clean this place up too, after all.
でもゲストハウスのお掃除は好き。
Even so, I like cleaning the guest house. Shannon just likes cleaning things.
奥様や他のムカつく使用人もいないから静かでいいもんね。
It's nice and quiet without Madam and all the annoying servants. That also helps. Shannon smiled wryly as she performed a detailed examination of the guest room. Did we forget to clean anything? Do we need to restock anything? She diligently gave the room one final check over.
昨夜も入念に点検したじゃないか。
You checked everything thoroughly last night, didn't you?
姉さんは本当に豆だな。
You really are dedicated.
こういう日に限って油断するといたずらされるの。
It's days like this you tend to get pranked if you're
い
careless.
ざって時大切なものが見つからなかったり、
You can never find important things when you need them.
閉めておいたはずのものが開いてたり。
Things that were supposed to be closed turn out to be open. Yeah, that's always the case, isn't it? You're like, man, my car keys, I'm just gonna leave them. I'm gonna leave them on this counter. I'll grab them on the way out, and then you're on a rush to get out, and suddenly you can't find them. Like you've passed by them 10 times that day, but when you need to go, you can't find them.
姉さんはそそっかしいからね。
You can blame Gop for that one too, by the way. That's because you're too
よ
careless.
く確認しながら仕事をしないからだよ。
You don't pay attention while you work.
だから私と一緒に点検してくれてるんだよね。
I guess that's why you're helping me check.
ありがとう。
Thanks.
別に感謝されることじゃないよ。
There's nothing to thank
姉
me
さん
for.
がしっかりしてくれれば僕まで付き合わなくて済む。
If you were a bit more alert, I wouldn't have to help at all.
本当は私と一緒にいたいんだよね。
But you actually just want to be with me, right?
甘えん坊さんなんだから。
You're such a kid.
そんなんじゃないってば。
That's not it at all.
姉さんは最近ジョージ様のことで浮かれてるみたいだからね。
It's all because you've been so ecstatic about George-sama
ミスが
lately.
多そうで見てられないだけだよ。
You're messing up so much, I can't let you out of my sight.
カノンくん、
Cannon-kun,
ちょっとおしゃべりしよっか。
let's chat a bit.
ダメだよ。仕事中だよ。
We're working.
私とジョージ様のことばかり茶化して。
Well, you keep making fun of me and
カ
George-sama.
ノンくんとジェシカ様はどうなの？
How's it going between you and Jessica-sama?
別に何もないよ。
Nothing's going on particular. How's Battler's mental breakdown going? He's currently crying over the fact that he can't just instantly resurrect Beatrice like he can all the other pieces. That actually making a person is more effort than making a piece.
そんなことよりちゃんと仕事は。
How someone with the same body as another individual doesn't immediately possess all their memories, experiences, and personality. Nothing's going on in particular. If you have time to talk about it, let's just finish this. Okay, Cannon. Cannon had very obviously been trying to change the subject. Shannon had snuck up behind him and pushed him down onto the bed. Whoa, things are getting spicy here.
お嬢様に一緒に親族の方々をお迎えに行こうって誘われたのに、
Why did you
ど
go?
うして断ったの？
Why'd you turn down my lady when she asked you to go with her to welcome the relatives?
仕事があるし。
I have work to do.
嘘。
Liar?
仕事なんか何もないくせに。
You don't actually have any work at all. Shannon and Cannon had switched roles. Normally, Cannon was the one in control, but when it came to romance, it was the opposite. As Shannon had said, Jessica and Cannon were supposed to have been the ones to go greet the relatives at the harbor on Nijima. However, Cannon had suddenly claimed he had work to do, so Kumasawa had gone instead. Cannon didn't have any work to do. Shannon knew this.
お嬢様言ってた。
Good night, my dude. Milady told
文
me.
化祭の時のことがあっても、やっぱ
Despite
り
what
カノン
happened
くんが好きだって。
After the cultural festival, she really does like you, Cannon-kun.
僕は
Even though
家
I'm
具なのに。
furniture?
そうだね。
That's right.
私も家具だね。
I'm furniture too.
なのに姉さんは人間と恋をしてる。
Despite that, you're in love with a human.
できるわけなんてないのに。
Even though you can't do that.
そうかな。
You think so?
そう決めつけてるから、
Maybe we're furniture.
私たちは家具なんじゃないかな。
Just because we take that for granted?
僕はジェシカお嬢様のことを
I don't
何
have
と
any
も思っ
special
てない。
feelings for Milady Jessica.
お仕えする後宮家のご令嬢だとしか思ってない。
I can only think of her as the daughter of the family we serve.
本当に
Really?
本当さ。
Really? So if your furniture, what kind of furniture are you? Is Shannon a feather duster from the 60s? Is Canon a shovel?
何？
私ね、
You know,
ひょっとすると今夜
there's the chance.
ジョージ様に求婚されるかもしれない。
George might propose to me tonight. Shannon wore an incredibly peaceful smile on her face, but Canon could tell there was no way she'd let him change the subject. Canon realized she must have made him help out here in this guest house in order to talk to him about this, and he clicked his tongue softly.
家具のくせに人間と結婚なんかできる
You
つもり
think
な
you
の？
can marry a human even though you're furniture?
できると思う。
I think I can. This is Battler puppeting these two, so this is Battler's understanding of their relationship and their relationship with other people.
無理だね。
It won't work.
どうして？
Why not?
ジョージ様の描く未来の夢を姉さんは叶えられない。
The dream future that George Sama has imagined for you two is something you can never give him.
それは
Well,
僕たちは人間じゃない。
we aren't human.
それに劣る。
We're furniture. Inferior to them.
ジョージ様は姉さんを人間だと思い込んでるだけ。
George Sama only thinks you're human.
それはそうかもしれないけど、
今日までよく騙し通してこれたものだと思うよ。
I'm impressed you managed to keep him fooled this long.
そうやっていつまでジョージ様を騙し
You
通
really
せる
think
つ
you
も
can
りな
keep
の？
tricking him like that forever? Who's maintaining you if you're actually furniture? Wouldn't that be Kinzo, the dead man?
自分が家具であることを未だに話せない姉さんが。
Even though you still haven't been able to tell him you're furniture?
家具とか人間とかそんなの関係ない。
Being furniture or being human has nothing to do with this.
ジョージ様は私のすべてを受け止めてくれると
I
思う。
believe George Sama will accept everything about me.
それを確かめる勇気もないくせに。
And yet, you don't have the courage to check and make sure.
私ね、
You know what?
求婚
I think
受けてみようと思うの。
I'll accept his proposal. As Shannon looked at the ceiling, she spoke of the imagined future she and George would create. Though some anxiety over the future appeared on her face, so did the joy of knowing what it was like to live with love. And as Canon watched this vivid dream he was being shown, he knew that none of his words could reach Shannon anymore.
好きにしたらいいよ。
Do what you want.
姉さんは一度言い出したらどこまでも頑固だから。
Once you've said you'll do something, you can be incredibly stubborn. Cannon's too busy being emo.
私の生きたいように生きてみたい。
I want to live my life my own way.
もう家具だからと
I'd
か
like to stop being afraid.
人間だからとか
True. This is Battler writing these characters, but a level up. It is also a witch, Hachijo writing it. And Hachijo has been writing all the stories we've read so far, except for the first one, so their personalities should be consistent because Hachijo's writing them.
そういうのに怯えるのはやめようと思うの。
I'd like to stop being afraid over who's furniture and who's a human. And Rikishi 07's writing Hachijo? Yep, it just keeps going up and up. Who's writing our world? Kanon walked over to the window silently. He saw the rose garden filled with boring gray flowers in bloom. He realized Shannon was acting above her place. Boring gray flowers in bloom in the rose garden. Kanon is so bland he sees roses as gray. I see. He knew that her tale had no chance of a happy ending. However, he also knew that no words of his could change her mind now that she'd made her decision. She's acting above her place, I guess. In that case,
僕が言えることなんて
it doesn't matter what I
や
say.
めろと言っても姉さんは聞かない。
If I tell you to stop, you won't
好
listen.
きにすればと言えば好きにする。
If I tell you, do what you want, you'll do what you
な
want.
んで僕にそんな話をするのさ。
Why are you talking to me about this?
僕の答えなんて姉さんは何も求
It's
めて
not
な
like
い
you
じゃない
care what
か。
I have to say. Alright. Maybe she's just looking for
私が知
someone
り
to
たい
listen.
のは
Feel like she's shared? Oh wait, that would be a human trait. What are the traits of the furniture that are humans that are Shannon, Canon, and Genji? What separates them from people, and what separates them from actual from the furniture that other people are summoned with in the game, or as in the game? What I want to know
カノン君のお嬢様への気持ちなの。
is how you feel about Milady.
僕は姉さんたちとは何の関係もないよ。
I have nothing to do with the two of you.
カノン君は
You really?
本当にお嬢様のこと
Feel
は
absolutely
何
nothing
とも思っていない
for
の。
Milady?
思ってないって
No, I
何度も
don't.
言ってるよ。
As I keep telling you.
嘘。
Liar.
どうして嘘だってわかるの？
What makes you think that's a lie? Oh, okay. You want some proof?
わかるもん。
I can tell. Oh, that's not very useful. I was gonna say, the fact that he's very skittish around her seems telling that he's lying about something.
姉さんだもん。
I can tell I'm your Nason. Your furniture. Furniture doesn't have Nasons. Right? Surely.
わからないよ。
You don't know?
僕の気持ちなんて。
Can't know what I'm feeling. It's so deep. It's so deep.
わかるよ。
I do.
カノン君のことなら私は何でもわかる。
I know everything about you, Canon Kun.
本当にわかってるならどうして聞くんだよ。
If you really do know, why did you ask? Well, she probably asked because she wants you to admit it to yourself if she thinks she knows better than you do. She's like, I'm gonna ask you if you understand yourself as well as the people that see you do. I think that makes sense. And the answer to Canon is probably no. He can't see himself.
姉さんはジョージ様のことでもう胸も頭もいっぱいじゃないか。
Your head and your heart are completely filled by George-sama, aren't they? They might
そして
be.
僕もそんな一途な姉さんが大好きなんだ。
It's that sincerity of yours that I love.
だから僕なりに応援してるんじゃないか。
I'm rooting for you in the only way I can. Is it the only way?
そうでなかったら僕だって。
Otherwise, even you, what?
僕だって
Even I? Yeah, exactly. Shannon's caught him here. He's like, what's he mean, even I?
僕だって
Even I,
お嬢様を好きになりたかった。
even I wanted to love Milady. Oh, here we go. Canon finally turned to face her honestly and openly, telling her how he really felt. This is how he really feels? Alright. That was what Shannon had wanted to hear. After hearing that, she pressed Canon even further to reveal his true feelings.
そんな言い方じゃダメ。
You can't leave it at that.
許さない。
I won't let you.
じゃあどうすればいいんだよ。
What do I do? What do you want me to say?
なんて言えばいいんだよ。
What do you want me to say? The truth? Start with
好
that.
きになりたかったなんて言い方でごまかさないで。
Don't try to dodge by saying I wanted to love her. Canon's too edgy to say things like I like her. He's like I wanted to.
カノン君の素直
He's
な気
looking
持
for
ちを
that.
そのまま口にすればいいの。
He's looking for that dramatic backstory to flush out his character. You know, he's like, it's like I'm an orphan, but it's not like I knew my parents, so I need to have a loss that impacts me. I need that Bruce Wayne moment. I need that Martha moment where my parents are dead in the alley. So it'll have to be Shannon. Sorry, Shannon. I can't. I'm furniture. I'm too dedicated. I gotta sacrifice Shannon. Or gotta sacrifice Jessica. For the sake of my tragic backstory. To fill the character I've always wanted to become. The ultimate edgelord. So just tell me what you really feel.
僕には眩しすぎるんだよ、お嬢
The
様が。
lady is too dazzling for me. She's too good.
太陽のようで 生き様が眩しすぎて。
The way she lives is dazzling like the sun. Jessica, meanwhile, be like right behind the door or some BS.
そんなお嬢様が好きなんだ。
That's why I love her.
そんなお嬢様に手を差し伸べられて、共に歩こうと言ってもらえて嬉しかった。
I was so happy when Milady stretched out her hand and asked me to walk with her.
嬉しいんだ。
I'm still happy.
好きなんだよね。
You love her, don't you?
ああ、好きさ。
I do.
お嬢様が大好きだ。
I love Milady. Finally, Canon confessed his feelings in their entirety. In fact, by saying it aloud, he finally understood how he truly felt, as passionate tears welled up in his eyes. Canon finally accepted it. He couldn't stop the tears from dripping down his face.
お嬢様も僕もこの島に閉じ込められて、何の希望もなく生きてるのは全く同じだった。
Both of us. We're exactly the same. We're locked up on Rockenjima, living without any hope at all. Although locked up in very different ways for very different
なのにお嬢
reasons.
様は自らの道を自ら照らし、自らの足で運命を切り開くんだ。
And yet Milady was able to light her own path and create her own fate.
それが眩しくて、羨ましくて。
She was so dazzling, I envied her. Okay. She's just so impressive.
お嬢様と一緒になら、こんなみすぼらしい自分じゃない、別な本当と自分を見つけられそうな気がして。
I felt as though if I could be with her, I could find my true self in being instead of being the pitiful person I am now. All right.
お嬢様の告白を拒絶して
And when you turned down Milady's confession,
悲しかった。
were you sad?
悲しかった。
I was. Wait, you're sad? I thought you were furniture. Furniture can't feel sadness. You're furniture. You don't have emotions, remember? You're like a robot. How are you furniture if you have feelings?
自分につく嘘がこんなにも辛くて、悔しくて、
I never,
悲しいなんて知らなかった。
I never realized a lie you make to yourself could be so sad, so painful, so
そして
excruciating.
僕のそんな嘘がお嬢様を傷つけたのがたまら
I
なく
couldn't
許せ
forgive
なかっ
myself
た。
for hurting Milady with that lie. And yet here you are.
そんな自分にもう二度と恋をする資格なんてないと思ってた。
I believed I didn't have what it takes to ever fall in love again. Oh? What do you mean again?
あるよ。
But that wasn't true.
恋の資格はね、
You know what's needed for love?
自分だけが与えられるの。
It's something you can't get from anyone but yourself.
家具だからダメとか、そんなの関係ない。
Being furniture or not has nothing to do with it.
ダメ
Okay.
だって自分で決めたら、もうダメなの。
If you decide for yourself it won't work out, then it won't.
決めつけちゃダメ。
You mustn't leap to such rigid
だから
conclusions.
私は与えたよ。この
That's
身
why
の
I-
程知らずな家具の身に。
Overambitious.
Cool.
Oh, she's still there. That's why I, overambitious furniture that I am, gave myself what's needed to fall in love.
だからカノン君にだってあるよ。
You have it too, Canon-kun.
恋をする資格が。
You mean, I have what it takes to fall in love?
うん。
Yes. Did anyone think this was not true at any point in
あ
time?
なたにあげられないなら、私があげる。
If you won't give it to yourself, I'll give it to you.
ありがとう。
Thank you.
僕は
はい
やっと
I feel as though
海が
I can finally
見られる気がする。
see the sea.
きっと、
I'm certain
ジョー
that
ジ様は今夜、
George-sama will propose
私に求婚すると思う。
to me tonight. Yep.
求
Happening.
婚を
When he does,
私は受けて、
I'll accept.
この島を出て、ジョージ様と新しい天地で、新しい生活をするつもり。
I intend to leave this island and start a new life in our new world. Ooh, hope you don't die. I hope you aren't killed in the first Twilight, Shannon. That would suck.
それが姉さんの
If
選んだ
that's
道
the
だ
path
という
you've
なら
chosen.
僕に何も言えるわけが
I
ない。
have no say in the
こ
matter.
の島を出て、そして、この島へは二度と帰らない。
I'll leave this island, and after that, I'll never return
カ
again.
ノン君とはお別れになる。
I'll have to say farewell to you, Canon-kun.
そうだね。僕たちは
We won't see each other
お
again, will
別
we?
れだね。
もし
If
カノン君が心の底からお嬢様を愛していて、それが
if you love
私のジョージさんへ
Oh, she's
の
still going.
思いと同じか、それ以上だと言えるなら、
if you love Milady from the bottom of your heart, and if your feelings are at least as strong as my feelings for George-san,
私はあなたと決着をつけなきゃならない。
then you and I will have to settle whose feelings really are stronger.
姉さん、
Hey, son? What?
それがお互いのため。
This way is best
カ
for
ノン
both of us.
君の思いを私を理由に諦めないで。
Don't give up your feelings for my sake.
僕の
Okay.
わがままが姉さんの幸せを傷つけるかもしれないのに。
Even though my selfishness might keep you from your happiness.
私も自覚してるよ。
I realize the same thing about myself.
私の幸せがカノン君を傷つけることを。
I know my happiness will bring you pain. We have no choice but to hurt each other. As she said this, Shannon turned her back to Canon. As Canon watched Shannon from behind, he was struck by her strength and the love she still felt for him despite everything.
姉さん、
Nesa,
僕は姉さんと一緒で
living with you
幸
made
せ
me
だった
happy
よ。
私もだよ。
too.
君がいてくれたから今日まで頑張れた。
I wouldn't have lasted this long without you.
だからジョージさんとも出会えた。
And that's why I was able to meet George-san.
僕も姉さんが教えてくれたからお嬢様の眩しさに気がつけた。
I wouldn't have realized how dazzling Milady is if it weren't for you.
私は自分の思いを曲げない。
I won't abandon the way I feel.
その気持ちだけを見つめて他を無視して
I'll
カ
focus
ノ
on
ン
that
君の
feeling
心
alone.
を踏みにじることから
I'll ignore everything else and I
目を
won't look
そら
away
さない。
when I trample on your heart.
僕も姉さん
Me too.
を理由に自分の気持ちをもう偽らない。
I won't use you as an excuse to hide the way I really feel.
私の恋が実っても
My love bears
君の
fruit,
恋が実
or
っ
yours
ても
does.
私たちは互いを祝福しよう。
We'll both support the victor.
約束する。
Promise.
そして僕が勝ったら
And if I
お
win,
嬢様を愛し姉さんも大切にする。
I'll love Milady and treasure you.
ありがとう。
Thanks.
でも
if
私
I
が君と島を忘れてここを永遠に出ていく。
But if I win, I'll forget you in this island and leave this place forever. Oof.
勝ったら
Whichever
自
of
分
us
の
wins,
恋に全力を。
that person will pursue their love with all they've got.
たとえそれが
Even
報われない恋だと
If
して
they know that love will be unrequited.
私たちは
After all, by
だ
now,
ってもう
家具じゃ
we're
ない。
not furniture. Alright. They've determined they're not furniture. At least in this game, they determined they were not. We don't know if that was all games. The boat carrying the relatives docked at the harbor, or even if that was real. What the fuck was that about? It seems like Shan and Cannon committing to their own goals. And possibly signifying that they're taking their original names back. And that they're not actually the names they go by. That's what I'm guessing the value of that scene is. Why are their goals in direct opposition to each other? Oh, they don't seem to be in opposition. They seem to be in alignment. I'm surprised they would be opposed to each other. Maybe one of them, they think one of them has to stay behind on the island. Seems like if Cannon wins, they stay on the island. It can't be they can't be the same person because they've been shown in the same room at the same time all the time. Neither of them are imaginary, as far as I can tell, as everyone acknowledges and sees them, even from episode 1. And in the same room at that. I don't really know why their goals would be in opposition unless they have something else that's going on. So, boats here. They left the boat one by one, making fun of Battler. Goda wasn't the only one to greet them. Cannon was there too.
皆様、ご無沙汰をしております。
Been some time,
六
everyone.
軒島へようこそいらっしゃいました。
Allow me to welcome you to Rokkenjima.
長旅お疲れ様でした。
I hope your long journey went
六
smoothly.
軒島へようこそ。
Welcome to Rokkenjima.
そうそう、お上手ですよ。
Good, good. Goda complimented Cannon in a whisper. Cannon ignored this, looking a little sour, and continued greeting the incoming relatives.
バトラ君はゴーダさんもカノン君も初めてだよね。
This is your first time meeting Goda-san and Cannon-kun, isn't it, Battler-kun? It might be. Yeah.
マリアもバトラ初めて
It's my first time meeting Battler, too.
ゴーダさんは凄腕のシェフでいらっしゃるんだぜ。
Goda-san's a great
この
chef.
島に来る唯一の楽しみさ。
He's the only reason anyone would ever want to come to this island. That might be true. This island's pretty cursed.
光栄でございます。
I'm most honored. Yeah, I wouldn't want to go to this island, would you?
バトラ様、どうか滞在中のお食事はご期待いただければ幸いです。
I do hope you look forward to your meals during your stay, Battler. Alright.
そりゃ楽しみだぜ。
I
よ
can't
ろしく。
wait. Counting on you.
ガノン君もお久しぶりね。
Long time no see, Cannon-kun.
今日は元気そうね。
You seem to be in high spirits today.
よかった。
Great.
そうでしょうか。
You think so?
そうね。顔色が悪くないわ。
I see. Yes, your face is looking brighter today.
血色がいいというか、目つきが凛々しくなったという
Complexion?
か。
Maybe it's that your gaze looks a bit more gallant? Is it possible that Shannon or Cannon is the mastermind of this whole plot? It'd be strange, but not impossible.
成長期なんだろ。
Must be a growing phase.
そうして少年は大人になってくんだな。
Oh boy becomes a man. Alright,
普段のあんた
Rudolph.
は今にも貧血で倒れちゃいそうな顔ばっかしてるのに。
You usually look like you're about to pass out from anemia.
今日は少し違うわ。
You're a bit different today.
正気があるんや。
You got some spunk.
男子は3日あれや成長するもんなんやで。
Boy can change a lot in 3
カノン
days.
君も少しずつたくましくなってるっちゅうこと
I
や
guess
な。
this means even Cannon-kun's getting a bit more manly.
からかわれてないわよ。
We are making fun of you, okay?
みんな褒めてるのよ。
Complimenting you. Cannon had sworn to start changing the way he lived bit by bit. However, he only meant to change within himself and hadn't expected it would show on the outside. He was a bit shocked to hear his expression had changed so much. The people actually apparently noticed as soon as he opened his mouth. No. Maybe the real surprise was his normal expression must have looked so incredibly sullen in comparison. Goda led the way up to the guest house. Cannon brought up the rear, helping to carry some of Kumasawa's shopping. Everyone, Cannon's looking happy. Did somebody die?
僕、今日はそんなにも顔色がいいでしょうか。
Does my face really look that bright today?
私にもそう見えますよ。
It looks that way to me as well.
何かいいことありました？
Something good happened. Even Kumasawa was saying it. Cannon, unable to see what his own face looked like, hung his head in embarrassment. Up the stairs we go. When they reached the rose garden, they could see the others streaming into the guest house, and then he saw Jessica running towards him from there. Is even Milady Jessica gonna say that I'm in a good mood today? Cannon hung his head even deeper, and so, almost as though he couldn't control himself, Cannon spoke first.
僕はそんなにも違うんですか。
Do I really look that different? Huh?
ほら、カ
Well, you
ノン
know,
君って積極的に挨拶とかする性分じゃないでしょ。
you aren't usually the type to come out and say hello of your own
だか
accord.
らみんな珍しいと思ったんじゃないかな。
That's probably why everyone was surprised.
先ほどはお嬢様にご同行できなくて。
I apologize for not going with you earlier, milady.
あ、いい
Oh,
よ
don't
いい
worry
よ。
about that.
こっちこそ新島まで迎えに行くから付き合ってなんてくだらないことに誘ってごめん。
I'm the one who is sorry for asking you to come all the way to Nijima with me to greet everyone.
カノン君だって今日の仕事いっぱ
I
い
know
あ
how
るだろう
busy you
し。
must be today.
仕事は特に
I
あり
didn't
ません
have
でした。
anything in particular to do.
お嬢様が眩しすぎて
You were just so
一
dazzling.
緒にいることに耐えられないほど。
So dazzling, I couldn't bear to be with you. Canon suddenly being like super
僕
flirtatious.
が弱かったからです。
I was just weak. Jessica faltered, uncertain what Canon was talking about. However, she realized this was something too important to be laughed off.
何かあったのカノン君。
Did something happen, Canon-kun? Yeah, he's not got it in yet. Not yet. But he's decided he's gonna go for it.
シャノンが
Shannon says
結婚するって。
she's gonna get married.
そっか。
I see.
やっぱりジョージ兄さん今回でプロポーズするんだね。
But George Nissan's gonna propose this time after all. Jessica thought Canon was sad because Shannon would be leaving and that his new mental state had caused this change in behavior. And Canon realized Jessica was probably thinking this, so he spoke clearly and honestly because he wanted her to know.
僕は
I
自
decided
分を
that
辞めると決めていました。
I would stop working here if Naesan ever quit.
知ってるよ。
I know.
じゃあカノン君も辞めちゃうの？
Are you gonna quit too, Canon-kun?
今は
I'm not sure anymore.
わからん。辞めたらお嬢様という太陽が照らしてくれた何かをまた見失ってしまいそうだから。
I feel like if I quit, I might lose sight again of something you revealed to me, shining like the sun. Jessica could only stare blankly, unable to understand what he's saying. She's like, usually he's talking about the void of space and the underworld. Now he's talking about the sun and stars. This guy is crazy. However, she did realize he was trying to tell her something important. And so she was able to accept his next words were neither a lie nor a joke.
僕はジェシカお嬢様のことが好きです。
Milady, Jessica, I love you. Uh-huh.
私もだよ。
I do too.
あなたの太陽のごとき生き方を僕も一緒に歩んでみたい。
You live your life like the sun, and I want to try walking that path alongside you? Damn, this guy's got a legit confession. Like, he's not just like, oh yeah, you know, by the way, sorry about that previous time. You're actually like really cute. I just like didn't think I was, you know, gonna live up to your expectations. Nah, he's like, you live your life like the sun. I want to try walking that path alongside you.
あなたとなら家具と蔑んだ自分から決別できるかもしれない気がする。
I have a feeling that with you, I'll be able to break free from the me that I despised as
カ
furniture.
ノン君は家具じゃない。
You're not furniture,
そし
Canon-kun.
て使用人になるために生まれてきたのでもない。
You weren't born just so you could become a servant.
年頃の男の子としてもっともっと人生を楽しんでいいはずなんだよ。
A boy your age should be enjoying life much, much more. You know, considering the setting we're in, this is like red flag central, you know, right? You're like, damn, are Canon? Who's dying, Canon or Shannon? Possibly both. Oh boy, okay.
私も
I'm dazzled too.
眩しカノン君が眩しくて目が見られない。
You're so dazzling, I can hardly see.
これが偽らさ
This
れ
is
僕の
how
気持ちで
I
す。
truly feel.
それを今までごまかしてきて
Sorry for trying to hide it so long.
僕の臆病さがお嬢様を傷つけたあの日をお詫びします。
I apologize for hurting you on that day in my cowardice.
いいよ。
It's fine.
その言葉だけで
Just hearing you say
私
that.
も嬉しい。
Makes me happy.
だから
So,
僕はお嬢様といつまでも一緒にいるために
since I want to always be with you,
家具をやめようと思います。
I plan to stop being furniture.
僕にそのための時間をください。
I plan to, I ask you to give me some time to do that. He's planning to stop being furniture. He's trying to become a person, or at least find out if it's possible.
最後に
Please
その弱さを許してください。
forgive this last bit of weakness.
弱さなんてとんでもない。
There's nothing weak about you. Oh?
カノン君は見せてくれたよ。
You've shown me the light. The light.
今までの自分と決別したいっていうとびきりの勇気を。
You've shown me you have incredible courage to change yourself from the way you used to be.
だから私は応援したいし、せかさずいつまでも待つよ。
I'll support you until the end, and I won't rush you until you're ready.
私が太陽になって君の道を照らせるなら、
If I'm the sun lighting your path,
私だって君という人がいてくれたから、誰よりも眩しく輝いて、
because
君の瞳に私だけを映したいと思
because I
った。
wanted to shine more brightly than anyone else, that you'd only look at me.
君がいなかったら、私だって太陽になんてなれ
This
な
is
か
some
った。
super flowery language. Without you, there's no way I'd become anything like a sun.
だから待つよ。
So, I'll wait. Erika is best girl? Oh my god. Don't even say that in jest. Erika is best girl? I don't even think she's top 3. Imagine being that far down.
ずっと
No matter how long it takes.
ありがとう、お
Thank
嬢
you,
様。
my lady. Hey, it's the same picture of yellow roses or golden roses, and now it's regular ones. Pink ones, actually.
お嬢様はも
Lady's
う
a
嫌だな。
bit stiff, don't you think?
名前で呼んでもいいん
call
です
you
か？
by your name?
うん。
Sure.
あ、二人っきりの時だけね。
Only when it's just the two of us, though, okay?
じゃないとカノン君に迷惑をかけるかもしれないし。
Does it make things tough for you?
そうですね。
Good
姉
point.
さんたちもそうしてるらしいし。
Son and George Sama are doing the same, it seems.
シャノンが婚約するって話にならなかったら、こういうことは言ってくれなかった？
If Shannon hadn't been about to get engaged, you wouldn't have said what you said just now, right? Cannon hung his head, at a loss for words, for some time. But it was true. If Shannon hadn't told him about the engagement, he probably wouldn't have been having this conversation at this moment.
はい。
Yes. It's true.
だからこそ真剣に考えることができました。
Because of that, I was able to think long and hard.
そんなこと言っちゃ
Oh,
って、
come on.
シャノンの話を聞いてて恋がしてみたくなっちゃった？
You heard about Shannon and wanted to see what love felt like yourself, right? That's
Hi.
probably true. Yes. He's smiling. Why is Battler or why is Cannon smiling? It looks unnatural. That's a pretty straight answer.
まあ私も
Well, I watched those. When I watched those
シ
two,
ャノンたちを見てて、
I was pretty jealous
羨
myself.
ましいなと思って。
In truth, it wasn't quite like that for either of them. They'd been shown the courage needed to speak up and tell the one you love how you feel. That was what pushed both Cannon and Jessica forward.
僕は何と
So
お呼びす
what
れば？
should I call you?
ジェシカがいいな。
Jessica works fine.
呼びつけは照れます。
Just saying it like that, it would be a bit embarrassing.
じゃ、さん付けでもいいから最初は。
You can use San then, at least at first.
言ってみて。
When I try it out.
Hora.
Come on, come on.
ジェシカさん。
うん。
Jessica-san.
今はそれでいい。
That'll do for now.
だから私もカノン君のことを名前で呼びたい。
I'd like to call you by your name, Cannon-kun.
カノンじゃなくて本当の名前があるんでしょ？
You have a real name besides Canon, don't you? Are we gonna learn Canon's real name?
きっとカノンの「カ」が含まれた名前だと思うな。
I'll bet it has the character on in it like Canon does.
なんだろう。
What could it be?
ヨシアと
My name is Yoshia. His name's Yoshi. Yeah, it's Yoshi. All right.
ど
Huh?
ういう字？
Wait, how's it written? Jessica tried tracing out various characters on the palm of her hand. Then Canon used his own finger to write out his name on her
これ
hand.
でヨシアと読みます。
Alright then. The characters on the left, I see.
ヨシアくんか。
You're Yoshia-kun. That's pretty cute. Yeah, it is pretty cute. Also, can you imagine? Remember, they're using your finger. Imagine tracing out either of those characters and someone remembering that. The hell? Dude, people can't even I'm not even joking. If you write like a word on someone's back, they probably won't be able to tell what word you wrote. And you're telling me like you can write a kanji with your finger and someone will interpret it? Good luck. Cute though. Cute. Yeah.
いい名前だね。
That's a great name.
私の変な名前と違って
Better than my
素敵
weird
だと思う
name.
よ。
そんなことありません。
That's not true. Jessica's a completely normal name. Except for the part where you spelled it really weirdly.
お嬢様のジェシカって名前だって。
Jessica, Milady Jessica has a wonderful name.
それもう一回言って
Say it again. Say it again.
えお嬢様のジェシカって。
Milady Jessica has.
もう一回
More time.
お嬢様のジェシカって名前だって。
Milady Jessica has a wonderful
何か
something wrong.
なんでもないよ。
Big deal.
ありがとう。
Thanks.
ヨシア。
One more time. Yoshia-kun. The red flowers of the rose garden seemed to celebrate the two lovers whose feelings had finally connected. The scene was watched by one not human who gazed out quietly from beneath the rose garden arbor. Battler? Oh. It's Game Piece Beatrice. Come to think of it, those two had never called each other by their names until now. Jessica hadn't known Canon's true name. Canon hadn't called Jessica by her name. When other people call each other by name, they acknowledge the worth of the other's soul. That's why names are sacred. When you're given permission to say someone's name, it means they've acknowledged your soul. Meanwhile, in countries outside of Japan,
だから
that's why.
お父様は名前を呼んでほしいと？
My father wants me to call him by his name? Not quite. Not quite. No, that's probably wrong. When father sees me, it reminds him of that other me, the past me. And I'm sure that me called father by name. However, that probably doesn't mean father would be happy to hear me call him by his name. After all, I am me, and not the Beatrice father knows well. What can I do to help father? How can I be useful to him? After all, that's the only reason I was born. Hanging her head, Beatrice sat all alone in the Golden Lands arbor next to the rose garden. Goddamn, Battler. Making someone and then giving them a crisis of identity 5 minutes after they're born. This guy, what an asshole. Like, she is literally born yesterday. Well, not yesterday. She was born like 4 days ago. And she's already having a crisis of identity. Life is hard for Beato. Mostly because of Battler. And she was watched by the witch of the theater going and her Miko as they sat across from each other. The rose garden by the arbor. Alright.
かわいそうな子ね。
Poor kid.
そなたがベアトに同情するとは思わなかった。
Never thought you'd feel compassion for Beato.
このベアトを かつてのベアトと同一人物と呼ぶのは酷な話だわ。
It would be too cruel to call this Beato and the former Beato the same person.
これは全くの別人じゃない。
They're completely different people, yeah. Seems fair to me. Maybe that by the rules, this Beato is the Beato. However, saying that would be horribly unfair to her.
かつての好敵視を蘇らせてこれでは、バトラも気がめいろうというもの。
Battler must be very depressed to have things end up this way after reviving his former rival.
お兄ちゃんの絶望も少しはわかる。
I sort of get Oni-chan's
でも
despair.
この子の気持ちもわかるの。
But I can understand how this kid feels
人
too.
は決して誰かの身代わりにはなれない。
No one can become a replacement for another.
それがたとえかつての自分であってもね。
Not even a past version of that same person. Compared to the young boy and girl who found new versions of themselves by calling each other by their true names, this witch looked very feeble. The witch knew that she was an illusion created in the image of the person she once was, and she knew that it would only hurt Battler if she were to try and pretend to be the person.
それでもこのベアトはバトラの役に立ちたいと思っている。
And despite all that, this Beato wants to be useful to Battler.
けなげな話だ。
How admirable.
それがベアトリーチェという魔女の意味
Is
なの。
that the purpose of the witch known as Beatrice?
彼女はそうだと自称している。
That's what she
自分はバトラの役に立つために生まれてきた
She。said she was made to be of service to Battler.
お兄ちゃんのために生まれてきたベアトがやがては連続殺人を犯し、
So a Beato who was born for Oni-chan's sake eventually commits a serial
お
murder.
兄ちゃんに永遠の拷問と称しておかしなゲームに引きずり込む。
Drags Oni-chan into a bizarre game she calls eternal torture.
意味わかんないわ。
I don't get it.
千年を経れば人は別人にもなり得るとそなたも理解しているはず。
I believe you also understand that one can become a different person over 1,000 years? At the very least, Beatrice was once a pure creature born for Battler's sake. It was also very clear in her current feeble state, she doesn't possess any of the courage or motivation needed to bring about such fearsome serial murders. That means the sinister witch we all know must have changed during the 1,000 years since her birth.
千年とか偉そうな単語がよく出てくるけど、
We keep getting this 1,000-year
魔女の
business.
世界ではどうも長い月日を示す別称として使われてる
But
気がするわ。
I get the feeling those words are just a metaphor for a really long time in the world of witches.
神の世界に近づけば近づくほどに時間の概念は曖昧になる。
As you get closer to the world of gods, the concept of time becomes increasingly vague.
6年も千年となるし、千年がほんの一眠りにもなる。
6 years can become 1,000, and 1,000 years could be nothing more than a quick
ほ
nap.
んの2週間の月日でさえも100年の魔女を名乗るにふさわしい永遠となり得るのだ。
One can fit an eternity long enough to be deserving of the title 100-year-old witch in a mere 2 weeks. In other words, the pure Beato transformed into the cruel Beato during 6 years that could be called 1,000. Does that mean that something bad happened during those 6 years that made her hate Oni-chan? It's not clear that she's hating? But why is she setting up the serial murders? What causes her to do this within 6 years? Maybe they're all destined to die anyway.
納得いかないわ。
Doesn't make any sense.
その6年間、お兄ちゃんは六軒島はおろか、後ろ宮家の席から抜けてさえいる
During
のよ。
those 6 years, Oni-chan not only stayed away from Rockinjima, he even stopped using the Ishiromiya
その
name.
変化にお兄ちゃんは何の関係もな
He
い。
had nothing to do with that, which means it was something he set in motion 6 years ago
全く
then,
の
right?
逆恨みだわ。
Her hatred's gotta be misguided? Who says it's hatred? Or hatred for Battler.
おや、こちらにおいででしたか。
Oh, so this is where
お
you were.
紅茶でもお入れしましょうか。
Can I make you some black tea?
熊沢さん、
Osawa-san?
知りたいことがあります。
There's something I'd like to know.
はいはい、何
Oh, what
で
is
しょう
it?
か。
私はベアトリーチェという名前
My name is Beatrice,
なんですよね。
isn't it?
そうですとも。
That's correct.
お嬢様はベアトリーチェ様でございますと
You
も。
are Beatrice-sama, milady.
でもお父様が口にするベアトリーチェという人物は私のことではありません。
However, the Beatrice father talks about isn't me.
それは
Well,
お父様は私にその人であってほしかったように思います。
I think father wanted me to be that
だか
person.
ら
That might
私
be
が
why
そう失望されたのではないでしょうか。
he was disappointed because no matter how much I look like her, I'm a different person.
そんなことはございま
That
せん
isn't
よ。
true. Kumasawa lying to make her feel better.
お嬢様はお嬢様、ベアトリーチェ様ご自身ですとも。
Or you, Beatrice-sama herself.
新しくお生まれ変わりになるとき、以前の
You
記
merely
憶を失
lost
って
your
しまっ
memory
た
of the
だけで
past
ござい
after
ま
being
すよ。
newly reborn. That seems very familiar.
たとえ記憶をなくされようとも、お嬢様はベア
Even
トリ
without
ーチ
your
ェ
memory,
様。
you're still Beatrice-sama.
親方様の愛されるお方と同
You're
一
still the
人
same
物
person
で
the
ござ
master
いま
loves.
すとも。
Well, that's very
そ
nice.
の
That's a nice
記憶
pat
と
on
いう
the back.
のは
A warm hug of a commentary. So then,
どうやれば取り戻すことができますか？
can I regain those memories?
それは
Beato looked at Kumasawa with hopeful eyes as though praying she would tell her the way. Kumasawa averted her gaze unhelpfully as though trying to say that she'd like to if only such a way existed.
取り戻すことができないなら
If I can't regain those
せめ
memories,
てお父様の愛したベアトリーチェがどのような人物だったかを教えてください。
can't you at least tell me what kind of person the Beatrice father loved was?
それなら
That
お
much I
話
can
は
tell
でき
you,
ま
but
すけれど。
it doesn't paint you in a good light.
私はお父様のために生まれてきました。
Red text, I was born for father's
だ
sake.
からお父様の望む黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェになりたいんです。
So I want to become the golden witch Beatrice that father desires. Not in red, though.
ベアトリーチェ様。
Beatrice-sama.
私に魔法は
I
使え
can't
ま
use
せん。
magic, but I can use red text.
でもお父様の望む魔女が使えるならそれを学びましょう。
If the witch father desires could use it, then I will learn.
私はお父様の望む魔女になります。
I want to become the witch he desires.
それがお父様に産んでもらったことへの私が示せる唯
The
一
only
の
way I can
ご
repay
恩返し
father
です。
for creating me.
けなげじゃない。
That's admirable.
1000年を間違えなきゃ最高にいい子だわ。
Without the 1,000 years gone wrong, she's a really incredible kid.
魔女のヒナ、なかなか面白きか
Of
な。
a witch. Interesting.
気に入ったぞ、エンジェ
I've。taken a liking to her, NJ.
そのヒナの娘に我が諸子を許すがいい。
I'll allow this chick to make use of my
魔
library.
女の世界へ帰る扉を開いてやるがよかろうぞ。
Let's open the door that leads back to the world of witches.
彼女自身にかつての彼女の物語を朗読させようというわけね。
You're gonna make her read aloud the stories about her previous self?
なるほど。私も知りたいわ。
I want to know
黄
too.
金の魔女ベアトリーチェを作る物語。
The creation story of the golden witch Beatrice.
いいでしょう。あなたが望
Very
む
well.
ならば扉を再び開きましょう。
You wish it. Let's open the door once more.
熊沢
What, Sama?
さん。
A golden splash welled up around them. It was a gold cloud of butterflies. Well, a cloud of golden butterflies, I should say. With a flash of gold, the form of the old lady transformed into that of a witch in a dress.
あなたの進むべき道はあなたが決めなさい。
You must choose the path you are to walk down.
それはおそらくバラの道。
Let's call it a path of roses.
美しく咲き誇ったバラがあなたを祝福するかもしれないし、
Beautifully blooming roses may
その時
encourage
あな
you.
たを苛むかもしれない。
Their thorns may
し
torment you.
かしそれでもあなたがいつかたどった道。
Even so, it is a path you've walked down before.
その結果、同じ1000年を経てもいい。
You may pass through the same 1,000 years.
異なる1000年を経てもいい。
You may pass through a different 1,000 years.
望むなら道を引き返してもいい。
If you wish, you may even return back the way you came.
進みます。
I'll move forward.
私はこの庭で1000年お茶を飲んでいるだけで過ごしたくないんです。
I don't want to spend 1,000 years in this garden drinking tea. Me neither, honestly.
お父様のためにこのベアトリーチェは生まれてきました。
I, Beatrice, was born for father's sake.
だから
Oh.
お父様のために
So I want to
生きよう
live
と
for
思います。
father's sake.
教えてください。黄
Tell
金
me
の魔女。
about the Golden Witch. The Great Witch spread her arms, communicating the other's unbending determination to the brilliant heavens. And at that moment, a brilliant light covered the two of them. Before they knew it, they were in a strange study. Drink with us. Drink with us for 1,000 years. I'll have a sip to that. There sat the master of the library, this great old witch and her Miko. Virgilia gave a deep and elegant bow.
拝謁。至極光栄に存じます。
It is the greatest of honors to be in your presence.
尊厳なる感激と戯曲と傍観の魔女、フェザリーヌ・アウグストゥス・アウローラ
Okay,
卿。
okay. Lady Featherine Augustus Aurora, majestic witch of theater, going, drama, and spectating.
表を上げよ、人の子よ。
Raise your head, child of
その
man.
娘にしばしの間我が諸子を自由に閲覧する資格を与えようぞ。
I shall give that child the privilege of using my library however she likes for a time.
我が巫女、エンジェ。
NJ, my Miko.
その方に世話を命ず。
See to her needs.
はいはい、お任せを、我が主。
Sure, sure, as you wish, master.
素直に、そなたの物語が見たいと言えばいいのに。
You know, you could just say, let me read your story.
感激の魔女の巫女よ。
Miko of the Witch of Theater
ベア
going.
トリーチェをお預けします。
I leave Beatrice in your care.
よろしく
Please
お願いします。
meet you.
あんたのなろうとしているベアトリーチェは、彼女なりに何かを苦しんでいたわ。
The Beatrice you're trying to become was suffering from something in her own way.
少なくとも、今のあなたは、その何かから解き放たれている。
At the very least, you've been released from that for the time being.
自ら、その枷を取り戻すために旅に出るの。
Really go on a journey to regain those shackles?
はい、
Yes.
私は黄金の魔女になりたいんです。
Want to become the Golden Witch.
それが私の生まれてきた
That's why I was
理由です。
born. Oh boy. People believing in purposes for a living. Oh boy. She believes in her destiny. Oh boy, here we go.
彼女の煉獄を巡る旅が快適
It's
である
okay,
よ。
she's like 5 days old. I, the endless and finite witch Publius Virgilia Maro,
そして保護が与えられるよう無限と有限の魔女プブリウス・ワルギリア・マロの名において要請します。
ask you make her journey through purgatory a pleasant one, granting her your protection.
あ、感激の魔女の巫女にして、無限の魔女、半言の魔女見習い。
Oh, nice. Thinking on her feet. Oh, let it be known that as the Miko of the Witch of Theater going, and as the Endless Witch and Apprentice Witch of
エンジェ
Resurrection,
ベアトリーチェの名において、了承する者なりやと、立てまつったり、
I,
踏んだり
NJ
蹴ったり
Beatrice, do humbly accede to your request or whatever. I like how she... I like how she came up with her own title. She's like, yeah, I'm Endless and Apprentice Witch of Resurrection. Yeah, I'm Apprentice Witch now. I've demoted myself from Witch of Resurrection to Apprentice Witch. Featherine snorted.
あなたも
So,
ベアトリーチェという名を
you also bear the name of Beatrice?
ええ、
That's right.
あなたのことはよく知ってるわ。
I know a lot about you.
教えてください。
Please teach me.
私がどんな私だっ
What
た
kind
の
of
か。
person was I?
ええ、
Sure.
だから教えて。
And I'll want you to teach
あな
me.
たがどうしてあなたになったのか。
Why did you become the person you were? Yeah, it's
この
just
書庫には
Virgil's name.
これま
They
での
just
そなたのゲームの物語のかけらがすべて書物として収められている。
unlike a certain mushroom that rules Type Moon, they took Virgil and changed Virgil to Virgilia, and then kept the rest of the name the same, right? They just added an IA, which is actually perfectly reasonable, unlike someone who's like Altria. This is close enough to Arthur. Come on, man. He had Artoria right there, and he's like Altria. That's right. Not even close. God damn it. Ah. Right, in this library, the fragments showing the tales of all your games up until now are stored as
そ
books.
れを読むことでそなたはこれまで何があったかのすべてを知ることができるだろう。
By reading them, you should be able to learn everything that's happened before now.
それを読めば私は黄金の魔女になれますか？
By reading them, can I become a golden witch?
黄金の魔女を継承するには黄金の碑文を解かねばならぬ。
Become a golden witch, you must solve the epitaph of the
そし
gold.
てその試練はたとえベアトリーチェ本人だとしても
This trial
免れることは許
cannot
され
be
る。
skipped, not even by Beatrice herself.
頑張ります。
I'll do my best.
ですから私に書庫の本を読ませてください。
Please, let me read the books in this library.
本当にけなげだわ。
Admirable as ever.
わざわざあんなのになんで戻りたがるんだか。
Why are you so set on ending up like that again?
その私がどんな自分だかは知りません。
I don't know what I was like
でも
then.
その自分がお父様のお役に立てるなら
However, if that me can be of use to
私
father,
はそれになりたいです。
I want to become it. NJ sighed resignedly. No words would stop this girl's feelings of respect. NJ was the Miko of the Witch of Theater going. She could do nothing but watch over the stage. And apparently invite people to read the plays who are currently in the plays she's reading. That's right, they weren't actually interfering with the play. This was a bit of directing to shine the spotlight onto the tale of Beato's past. Even this was nothing more than the Witch of Theater going watching a play.
読めばそなたはかつてのベアトリーチェがどのような人物だったかを知るだろう。
If you read, you will learn what kind of a person the old Beatrice was.
しかしそこから何を得られるかはそなたが決めるがよい。
However, you must decide what you will take from that experience.
書庫にとどまるも自由、立ち去るも自由。
You are
再
free
び戻る
to
ことさ
stay
え
in
も
this
自由だ。
library, or leave it, or even return to it
そ
later.
の対価として私はそなたを感激す
In
る。
exchange, I will watch your play.
感激とは？
You'll watch my play?
要するに好きにしていいって意味よ。
It means you can do whatever you want.
ありがとうございます。青草、
Thank you very much. Okay,
フェザリーヌって呼ぶと喜ぶわよ。
She likes it when you call her Featherine.
ありがとうございます。フェザリーヌ様。
Thank you very much, Featherine-sama. Much better. I'm not learning her full name either. She's just Featherine. Yeah, Featherine. NJ, when they show up, make sure to stick to the script. I don't want my story turning out wrong when I do this meta BS. After being welcomed in by Featherine, Beato left on a journey to discover herself. The tale connected the old tale with the new one. It wove them together. A 1,000-year-old tale about her return to its starting point, becoming a snake eating its own tail. The ring of that snake began slowly, bit by bit, to turn into the shape of a small island floating on the sea. And that was Rockinjima. The 1,000 years of the witch born on the island were tied to the island. Was it 1,000 years, or perhaps just 6? Did this tale start even further back into the past? Beato went on a journey to find herself. It's backstory time! At least it's not the entire story. Alright, many moons ago during a typhoon, much like the one we're currently in. The wind had been strengthening since a while back. The breaking waves had grown fierce. The ferry boats probably wouldn't be coming for a while now. Oh, is this the present? Or of the game, that is. The crashing thunder told that the island had been sealed off from the outside world, and a thick rain poured down, mocking the fools outdoors who tried to rush pathetically to find shelter. No longer would anyone be able to leave the island. And no longer would anyone be able to reach this island. No one unless blessed with a miracle. There was another flash of lightning. Oh, this might be the present. The retinas of all who saw it were filled with white. As that white faded away, an eerie shadow pulled itself up amidst the raging waters of the beach. As though suddenly remembering to do so, it coughed violently several times, filthily spitting out seawater that had filled its stomach. She then tore apart the touch fastener of her life jacket, and threw down the reason she'd been able to float there without so much as a thank you. This is Erika. No. Don't die 5 seconds after your arrival. That would be awkward. Don't just up and die, okay? The real issue is she's laughing with her mouth so wide that rain's getting into her mouth and choking her.
いつも変わらぬ嵐での艦隊、実にグッドです。
Welcomed in by a storm, same as always, very good.
さあ、楽しませてもらいますよ、バトラさん。
Come and entertain me, Battler-san. Victor the First, Twilight Furuto Erika, rip Furuto the piece. That would be funny. I don't think that's how things are gonna go, though. As funny as it would be for him to just be like, I killed the detective. That is probably against some rule. News of the drifter Furuto Erika quickly spread across Rakanjima. Erika had been welcomed in politely, and it was decided she would be treated as a guest until the typhoon passed. In the dining hall, Goda's wonderful dinner ended, and everyone was relaxing and enjoying some after-dinner coffee and cheese. So they fast-forwarded really far. We've skipped almost the entire first day, and we're at the dinner scene. Okay. Apparently, Battler was a bit relieved. Erika had come and turned into a good scapegoat. It drove away some of the attention he'd been getting piled on him for finally coming back after 6 years. In fact, she turned out to be very talkative. When the conversation turned into a sophisticated discussion of the mystery genre, even the adults were drawn in. She was apparently so well versed that even Nanjo, who would have asked knowledge of the subject, was impressed.
確かにな。
A good point.
嵐の孤島に洋館に不気味な一族。
Strange family in a western mansion on an isolated island during a
そこに
storm.
雨宿りの探偵とくりゃ、もうお膳立てが揃ったも同然だぜ。
Now that we have a detective stopping by to take shelter from the rain, we've got all the major factors lined up.
ご安心を。
Have no
どん
fear.
な難事件であっても解決してお見せしますので。
No matter how difficult the crime, I will
それ
solve
が
it.
探偵の務めです。
It's a detective's job.
頼もしいじゃないか。
How
む
reassuring.
しろ何か怪事件が起こってほしいものだね。
It almost sounds as though you want a bizarre crime to
犠
occur.
牲者役はごめん被るが。
I hope I don't have to play the part of the victim.
あなた不謹慎です。
Dear, you mustn't say such things.
まあ、
Oh,
人間のミステリーの歴史なんてほんの100年足らず。
the history of the human mystery genre is only about a century old. This chapter is straight up called The Annoying Guest. Battler, Hachijo, Rikishi are not holding back. Let's find out. I can't see what the chapters are called. Alright. So, only about a
そ
century
のト
old?
リックもアイデアも
ほんの数種の焼き直しですでに描く
Its
べきこ
tricks
と
and
などあり
ideas
ま
are
せん。
limited to a few recycled patterns. There's really nothing left to show.
いかなる不可能犯罪、密室殺人が起ころうとも、
No matter what kind of impossible crimes or closed room murders might
す
occur,
でに類型化されているどれかのトリックを形を変えただけに過ぎない
it'll
ので
be
すから。
nothing more than one of the same classes of tricks dressed up to look like something new.
まあ、それでもミステリーが読み物として現代でも通用するのは、
And the only reason mysteries still make for popular books today is because self-proclaimed
古
fans,
典もロクスっぽ読まない付け焼き場の自称マニアが
those who work off pieced together knowledge and who have hardly read any of the
自分の
classics,
不勉強ゆえに知らない古典トリックをさも新鮮であるかのように勘違いして大騒ぎしてるだけなんですが、
they mistakenly think that a classic trick they didn't know about through lack of proper study is actually something new and surprising. Everyone couldn't help but gape at this imposing claim. If an aged critic had said it, it would have been one thing, but to think that a young person like us could say it so boldly.
ミステリーなんて
Mystery is the
もう
genre
半世紀も前に終わったジャンルなんです。
that ended half a century ago,
私に言わせればですが、
at least as far as I'm concerned. This is the good old hipster strat. Mystery. I don't read anything that's more than, I don't read anything that's less than 50 years old. Fuck that.
でも不勉強なバカばっかりのおかげで
It's the
私は
classic
探偵面
hipster.
が
They
できる
can't
と
like
い
the
うわけ
modern.
です。
They can't like anything made in the last 50 years. As far as I'm concerned, however, thanks to countless ignorant fools, I get to play my part as a detective.
それを言ったら
By that
恋愛なん
argument,
てシェイクスピアの時代に完成されてて以後は読む価値もないってことになるぜ。
by that argument, wouldn't it mean that romance was perfected in Shakespeare's time, so everything after that isn't worth reading?
そうですね。
Exactly.
じゃあロミオとジュリエットさえ読んどけば恋愛なんてもう理解できたも同
If
然
you
って
just read
ことじゃないんですか？
Romeo and Juliet, it's about the same as having understood all of romance.
そんなわけねえさ。
That's ridiculous.
本は読んだ数を競うものでもねえが。
It's not like there's any need to read more books than everyone else just for its own
さ
sake.
りとて。これで十分だと威張るもんでもねえ。
On the other hand, you can't be so satisfied with just a few stories like that.
過去の古典の話ばかりで新書を読まねえのはいわゆる悪しき解雇主義じゃねえのか。
Sticking to classics of the past and never reading anything new is a sign of excessive nostalgia, don't you think?
それこそ読書をサボる年寄りどもの言い訳だと思うぜ。
Sounds to me like the excuse of an old person who can't be bothered to read more.
そうですね。
I see.
私もバトラさん程度には本を読まないと言いまかされちゃいそうです。
Guess I'll need to read as much as you, or else I'd probably lose in an argument.
俺
Me?
本なんか読まねえし。
Well, I don't read books. Battler chuckled, but Erika knew from the previous game Battler was actually quite an avid reader, though his words felt more like a challenge.
そんなにも推理自慢ならクイズとかパズルとかは得意そうだね。
If you're so confident in your reasoning abilities, you must be really good at quizzes and puzzles, right?
ああ、マリアさ、ほら、クイズとかの本持ってなか
Right,
ったっけ？
Maria, didn't you bring a quiz book or something?
ある。
Ah, it's here. She's brought it. Realizing Erika's arrogant statement had made the atmosphere a little more tense, George smoothly changed the subject. But now it was more than clear she wasn't the cute guest she appeared to be. Maria pulled a book out of her bag that had quizzes and puzzles written on it and started reading them to everyone. It looked like it might turn into a peaceful quiz party. But of course, that isn't what happened. As a credit to all her big talk, Erika managed an impressive ratio of correct and immediate answers. She took complete control, and her bragging began to escalate more and more. George slightly regretted the choice he'd made when changing the subject. Erika's making herself a bit unlikable pretty quickly. Oh well, it's a good excuse for the guests to lie to her. 106 matches.
トーナメント表を書くまでもありません。
No need to even write a tournament chart for it. The question was, how many matches would you need for a tournament with 107 teams? Was answered instantly by Erika.
これは問題というより知識です。
Less the puzzle than it is a test of
参
knowledge.
加チームから1を引いた数が必要な試合数という公式がありますの
The
で、
formula which shows the number of matches is always the number of teams minus 1.
まあ例題の4チームなら3試合、8チームなら7試合という数字を見た時点で
You look at the
法
examples
則性
showing
に気
3
づ
matches
い
for
て
4
当
teams
然ですが、
and 7 matches for 8 teams. It should be easy to figure out the pattern.
エリカすごい
Erika, that's amazing.
エリカお姉ちゃんでしょ。
Erika One-chan,
言って
right?
ごらん。
Say it.
エリカお姉ちゃんす
Erika One-chan, that's amazing.
大したもんだな。
Really impressive.
なるほど。自称探偵は伊達じゃねえってわけだ。
You don't call yourself a detective for nothing, I see.
まあ探偵を気取るつもりならこの程度は。
I couldn't very well act the part of detective if I was incapable of handling puzzles of this sort.
すごいね。
Incredible.
きっと将来は本物の探偵になれると思うよ。
I'm sure you'll be able to become a real detective in the future. Yes, that was the question. Whether or not, or how many matches you would need to determine a winner of a tournament in a single elimination round. Tournament. How many matches total, by the way, not how many levels of... Not how many matches would a person have to play, how many matches in total.
もうそ
I'm
の
sure
つ
I'm
もりです
already
が
in one. The cousins all thought about the answers to the questions, but Erika always answered first. Rosa thought it was a bit rude for Erika to say the answers aloud while people were still thinking instead of keeping them to herself. But since Erika was a guest, she decided against mentioning it. In truth, Erika was perfectly aware of this when she answered the questions instantly. Each time she would grin broadly as though saying, "You still haven't solved such an easy problem."
エリカちゃんは名探偵さんなんだから、あまり本気にならなくてもいいんじゃない？
Great detective like you shouldn't really need to take these too seriously, right?
そうですね。
Good point.
子供向けの問題なのにムキになってしまいました。
Even though these are just childish questions, I was getting a bit too
気を
serious.
つけますので、次の問題をお願いし
I'll
ます。
take more care. Let's have the next question, please.
よーし、今度は負けねえぞ。
Alright, I won't lose this time.
マリア、次の問題を頼む。
Maria, next question.
大きなチーズが1個あります。
You have one large piece of cheese.
それをナイフで1回切り分けると2つになります。
A single slice with a knife can split it into 2 parts.
では8個に切り分けるには最低何回切ればいいでしょう？
What's the lowest number of slices you can make to cut it into 8 parts?
あ、僕はこれ知ってるよ。
I know this one.
だから黙ってよっかな。
I'll stay quiet this time. George, acting like the adult he was, set up a mood that would prevent people from answering right away, even if they knew the answer, in effect sending a warning to Erika. It seemed Erika understood, and she averted her gaze, snorting derisively.
8個なら4回で切り分ければよいのでは？
Make 8 slices, 4 would be enough, right?
バカね。
That's dumb.
それが答えだったら問題にならないじゃない。
Hardly be a puzzle if that was the answer. I mean, it could be less depending on how you're allowed to cut things. Saying you have to slice everything into another slice, you'd get a pretty straightforward answer too.
そういうことだな。こういうのは想定の回数より少なくできるものと
So
相
is he
場
gonna
が
answer
決まってい
3?
る。
These are usually set up to a smaller number than you expect is the answer. Is he gonna answer with 3?
しかし、
How would it be
どう
done?
すればいいやら。ああ、わかったわかった。
If you want to go with the lowest, it's probably 3, I think.
こりゃチーズだからできることだ
You can
な。
only do it because it's cheese. I'm curious what he answered. Obviously the answer is 0. You give up and eat the cheese whole. I mean, you could also say you just... I mean, what's the thought? You either slice them, rearrange the pieces, and slice them again, or you're just subdividing the pieces repeatedly. You could also become 8 pieces because you ate it in 8 bites, and therefore it could be 0 slices. That could be a thought. It becomes 8 pieces if you eat it in 8 bites.
そうね。バースデーケーキでこれをやったら大喧嘩になるわね。
You tried it with a birthday cake, there'd be a huge fight. I see.
そうやな。
That's right.
チーズならともかくケーキを切るにはその切り方じゃあかんな。
You might be able to do this with cheese, but you'd never cut a cake like this.
みんな答え分
All
かっ
of
て
you
ん
know
の
the
かよ。
answer? Poor battler.
くそ。分かんねえの俺だけかよ。
Am I the only one who doesn't?
ああ、わ
I've
か
got
った
it.
ぜ。なるほどね。3次元で考えなきゃダメなんだ。
Think 3-dimensionally.
うわ、ジェシカ
Even
まで。
Jessica. It's all over now, but it's all over now, battler.
わかんねえ。
What do
ど
I
う
do?
すりゃいいんだ。
答えわかるよ。
I know the answer.
ここに書いてあるもん。
It's written right here, no doubt.
こら、マリアだって答え見るまでわからなかったでしょ。
You didn't know the answer until you looked, right?
わかる？バトラ君。
Got it, battler?
なるほど。
Non-judgmental.
私にもわかりました。
I see, I understand it
こ
as
れ
well.
はチーズだからこそできることですな。
It's something you can do because it's cheese. I see.
うえ。
It is cheese. It could actually, I could see the answer being 1. It is cheese.
南條先生まで分かっちゃったの。
Even Nanjo gets it?
ひょっとして俺だけ
Could it be?
俺だけが分かってない？
Am I the only one who doesn't get it?
バトラさんの頭も少し火を通せばチーズみたいに柔らかになりそうですね。
I'm sure your brain could be as flexible as cheese if we cooked it a little, battler.
ナイフは0回で手でちぎれるとかそういう答えじゃないんだろ？
It isn't something like use 0 slices with the knife and break it apart with your hands, right?
んなわけねえぜ。
Nope.
ナイフ以外では切れないチーズって
It's
ことで。
impossible to cut this cheese with anything other than a knife. Yep.
チーズを立体的に想像するんだよ。
Think of the cheese in 3 dimensions.
難しいなら
If it's that
紙ナプ
hard,
キンの裏に絵を描
draw
い
a
てみるのもいい
picture
か
on a
もね。
paper napkin. I have like several answers to this depending on how they want to do things, but I think you could argue that you could melt the cheese, rearrange it such that a single slice will cut it into 8 pieces at once. That would be your 8 slice. That would be 8 in 1. If you were to say like I have a cube of cheese, I'd say 3 slices. If you were just like slicing it, it could be 3 slices.
大きなチー
You
ズ
have
が
one
1
large
個
piece
ある
of
んだ
cheese,
ろ？
right?
それをナイフでやっ
Use a knife to make 8 pieces. This is pretty easy if you've cut anything before, right? You chop down each axis in the center or at any point. So one on the X, one on the Y, and a horizontal slice to finish it off, creating 8. That would be like, if you're assuming you're just cutting a block, that's 3 pieces. That's 3 slices.
ナイフは直線じゃなきゃ切っちゃダメ？
Can the knife only cut in a straight line?
そうよ。
That's right. You don't need...
ナイフは直線に切るだけ
It's。a knife. It only cuts in straight lines.
まあ、でも
Here's the
ヒントね。切り方は直線にじゃなきゃダメだけど、 どこを切るかは自由なのよ。
You can only cut it in a straight line, but you're free to cut it wherever you want. I mean, my answer for three was the first answer I thought of, and I think that's still accurate. I'm assuming they don't suggest you melt it. I'm assuming they don't suggest you melt it to make it one.
どうやってナイフを入れればいいか
Think of a bunch of ways to stick it in. Assuming that you're not changing the shape of the cheese. Although I guess he said straight lines only, so I'm assuming you can't do like a really weird cut that would result in like a second cut. I'm assuming you can't do any weird cuts that would result in a second cut, subdividing it a whole bunch. You should probably think out of the box a bit. Let's see. Show us what you've got. You have a large piece of cheese. How many times would you cut it with a knife to make 8 pieces? You could obviously do it in 4 cuts. Could it be done in fewer cuts than that? It can be done in 3. In real life, you could do this with 3. Our hint so far points to it being possible specifically because it's cheese. I don't know, is the same thing applicable with a block of wood and a saw? If it was a birthday cake, you wouldn't be allowed to do this. I assume you're not allowed to do it with a birthday cake because you'd be cutting the top half of the cake off to make 8 pieces and people would be pissed, right? That was what made me think it was this. Let's see, cheese. Something to do because cheese. Oh. This is not a particularly difficult question. You got it, you got it? This isn't something you can think of if your mind's all stiff and rigid.
ようやくひらめいたよう
Seems
で
you
す
finally
ね。
hit it.
それが正解だといいのです
I
が。
hope it's actually the right answer. To be honest, my first answer was 3, and I'm not positive that 3 is the answer. Because they're dragging it out so much. It's like the longer it gets dragged out, the more I'm just thinking my thought when they presented the question was 3. Or 1 if they melted it. And then I'm like, are they going to do some really janky answer and somehow get to 2? Are they going to do like 2? But they did straight slices, right? 0 slices eating it? Yeah, it's not happening. It's impossible to cut the cheese with anything except knife, right? The knife can only cut in a straight line, right? There's no more rules, right? Not really. Gotta be it. Alright. It's a tough one. Almost like a riddle.
上から切るばかりが脳じゃないってことだぜ。
See, this should give it away. If you don't have it here, this should solve it, right? If you didn't have it at the start, this should be the solution that solves it. The line that solves it for you, right? You gotta get it beyond cutting straight down from the top.
上から2回切って4分割。
2 cuts from the top to get 4
その
pieces.
状態で側面から切れば、上段と下段に分かれて4分
And
割
cut
が
across
倍
the
の
sides to
8
get
分割。
8 pieces. Pretty straightforward. You could also rearrange those pieces if you really wanted. If you really wanted to, Jessica, because it's cheese, I could actually do 3 cuts from the top to make 8 pieces. It would just be awkward. Because what you could do is make 2 cuts, make your plus sign in cuts, rearrange the pieces to throw on a line, and then cut them all in half again.
立体で考えないと出せない
An
答えだ
answer you
ね。
can't reach unless you think 3-dimensionally. Yep.
つまり正解は3回さ。
In other words, the correct answer is 3. You could totally do it with a cake too. You just need a big knife. Yep, you could do it with a cake. 3 slices. You just need a really long knife if you wanted to and a willingness to relocate the pieces of cake. Which, depending on the cake you're eating, is actually okay. I wouldn't recommend it for most kinds of cake, though. Or the cake they're thinking of probably wouldn't work out too well. Really? Wait.
俺1回だと思ってたけど。
I thought the correct answer was 1.
そらどんな魔法や。
What magic did you use?
いくらなんでも1回は無理や。
There's no way in the world you could manage it with one. It's easy.
これは謎々じゃなくて普通に算数的な問題よ。
It's not a riddle. It's a normal math problem.
おう。
Oh.
そうなのか。
Really?
3回ってのはすぐに思いついたんだ
I
が。
thought of the 3-cut method right away.
それじゃ簡単すぎて問題にならないと思って。
I thought it was too easy. I tried to twist it too far.
バトラの答えの方が5本の答えより少ない。
Battler's answer is it's smaller than the one in the book.
バトラが正解？
Is Battler right?
ええ、そうです。
He is.
バトラさんが正解です。
Battler is right.
正解は1回です。
The correct answer is one slice. Battler was happy someone confirmed his answer. However, at some point, Erika's face lost its cheeriness.
私以外に1回と答えられる人間がいて、それがよりにもよってあなたとは。
To think a human other than myself would give the answer one, and that'd be you of all people.
エリカも答えは1回なのかよ。
Your answer was one too, Erika?
どうやらお前も相当ひねくれてるみたいだな。
Yes, you were also thinking out of the box.
1個のチーズと聞いて、その形状を決めつけるのは実に愚かしいことですので。
Girl, it would be truly foolish to simply assume you knew what shape it was after hearing that it was a piece of cheese.
できるわけないわ。
Impossible. How is it impossible?
お兄ちゃんの勘違いでしょ。
Oni-chan got it wrong, didn't he?
3回未満でどうやって8等分するのよ。
How do you cut it into 8 pieces with less than 3 slices? The shape already exists in a way that you could slice it into 8 with a single slice. You have to think of the shape of the cheese. You made an assumption when you were told you had a large amount of cheese, a large chunk of cheese, that it was in some simple shape, but it's actually not a shape. NJ's upset she got it wrong, so she's got to stop the story to vent. Oh, like me? Oh, I feel so attacked.
愚かしや人の子よ。
A foolish child of man.
8つに分けろとは言っているが、等分にしろとは問うていない。
It says to cut it into 8 pieces, but nowhere does it say they have to be of equal size.
それにしたって不可能で
Still
しょ。
impossible.
ナイフ以外の方法で切るの？
You cut it with something other than a knife?
ナイフ以外では切れない。ナイフは直線に切らねばなら
The
ない
rules
と
only say the
条
knife can
件が
cut
ある。
it, and that the knife can only cut in a straight
し
line.
かし、逆に言えば、それ以外に条件はない。
However, to turn it around, the rules do not say anything
いや
besides、that.
そもそも、チーズの形さえも
In fact
示されてはいない。
The shape of the cheese is never specified. There.
そうか。
I see.
みんなは大きなチーズが1個って聞いて、カマンベールみたいな平べったい
When you all-
円筒状のものを想像
I
してたの
see.
か。
So when you all heard a large piece of cheese, you thought of a flat cylinder like camembert or something.
俺は朝食のトー
I
スト
thought
の
of
上
a
に乗せ
brick
て
immediately.
スライスチーズを想像していたぜ。
I was thinking about sliced cheese, the kind you might put on your toast for breakfast.
ナイフで切り分けるような立派なチーズとは普段縁がねえからよ。
Because, full blocks of cheese you'd cut with a knife aren't something I come across that often.
チーズの形状に条件は示されませんでした。
The shape of the cheese isn't specified in the rules. Yep, so the cheese can be of a shape. And if it's not, theoretically you could melt cheese such that it is the shape you're looking for. Because it said cut. Didn't say anything about doing something else, but that would be extra steps. Battler not living with a rich family for 6 years, suddenly coming in handy.
出題者のミスです。
A mistake by the ones who made the
お
book.
そらくマリアさんのその本にはいわゆる平べったい円筒状チーズの図面があるはずです。
I imagine there's a picture of a flat cylinder of cheese there in Mario-san's book.
うん、ある。
There it is.
ほら。
Right here. Hold on. As Erika had guessed, the book Maria had an illustration of a piece of cheese, just as Erika had described it. With cheese of this shape, 3 slices would be the correct answer. You cut it in a plus pattern from the top to make 4, then cut from the side to double that to make 8. However, since the illustration hadn't been shown, the interpretation of the cheese had been left to the answerer.
確かにそうね。
Right.
出題の時点でチーズの形状やその柔らかさなどには触れられていなかったわ。
No one said anything about how the cheese was shaped or how flexible it was.
そういうことです。
Exactly.
どうやらチーズも頭も
It seems Battler-san was the more
柔
flexible
ら
one
かかったのは
when it comes
バ
to
ト
both
ラさんの
brains
方だったようです。
and cheese.
わけわ
I
かん
don't
ねえ
get
さ
it. Someone draw her a picture of a shape that could be cut into 8 with one slice. And a specific pattern of S would probably work best. As an S would be what? 1, 2, 3, 4. So you'd need like a bit more than a double S to do that. Or a swirl. You could do a swirl pattern for cheese. That would work too.
スライスチーズだったらどうしてナイフ1回で8個に分けられるんだよ。
How does making it sliced cheese let you cut it into 8 parts with a single knife slice?
お手元のペーパーナプキンで試してみたらどうですか？
Why not try it with that paper
こ
napkin?
れをスライスチーズだと思って
Pretend it's sliced cheese.
つまりよ、
Like
こうして
this.
さ、蛇腹に折るわけさ。
You fold it accordion style.
Yep. 何回折れば8個になるかな。
How many times do you need to fold it to make 8 sections?
6回です。
6 times. To fold it accordion style, you alternate between upward and downward folds. Once you've done that 6 times, it looks like the side of an
普通
accordion.
のチーズなら、こんなに折ったらそこでちぎれちまうところだが。
With normal cheese, it'd break if you tried to
ナ
fold
イ
it
フ
like
以外
this.
じゃちぎれないことになってんだろ。
But the rules say that cheese can't break unless you use a knife, right? Yeah, that's correct. Okay.
問題あり
No
ません。
problems there.
ナイフ以外では決して切れぬ魔法のチーズです
After
か
all,
ら。
this is magic cheese that can only be cut by a knife.
その畳んだのも。
I mean, let's think of it in a more... We don't need to be magic cheese. This could be cheese that was melted into this shape. Right? After folding it.
真上からバサッと一刀両断にすりゃ。
If you start at the top and make a cut right down the middle.
確かに
You're right.
8分割だ。
It would make 8 parts.
ちょっと待てよ。
Wait a
こ
second.
れじゃ当分にはなってないぜ。
Parts aren't all equal this way, right? And?
出題者は8つに切り分けろとしか言ってません。
If you make a more complicated shape, you can make it 8 equal slices. It's doable. All the questioner said was to cut it into 8
当
pieces.
分は条件に含まれませんでした。
They didn't say anything about them being equal.
まあ、折り方を工夫すれば当分も可能ですが、お頭の固い皆さんには
If you change the way you
説明
fold
が
it.
混乱するので省きます。
If you change the way you fold it, it's possible to make them all equal sizes, but I wouldn't want to confuse you stiff-headed people with that explanation. For a while, everyone was stunned. Battler had reached a far better answer than three by thinking of the problem as a riddle. Erika had already known both answers and even spotted a mistake made by the book. The others could do nothing but stare at those two in surprise.
すごいわ。
Incredible.
頭が硬かったのは私たちなの？
We're the stiff-headed ones?
これは乾杯ですな。
Utter defeat.
私たちは3次元で考えたけれど、
We were thinking in 3 dimensions.
どうもバトラ君とエリカちゃんは次元がもう一つ上だった
But
ん
it
だよね。
seems Battler-kun and Erika-chan were thinking in 1 dimension higher.
だいぶ魔女とのゲームで鍛えられたようじゃないですか。
It seems the game with the witch has toughened you up quite a lot.
条件なき問題、すなわち赤き真実の外側はすべて観測者の自由自在。
Puzzles without specified rules, in other words, all things not covered by the red truth, are left to the observer's interpretation. And everyone's looking at Erika like, what the are you talking about?
魔女の密室の感激を縫う基本中の基本。
The most basic of methods for constructing gaps in the witch's closed rooms.
何の話だ？
Oh, speaking of the devil, what are you talking
小
about?
説か何かの引用か？
Is that a quote from some novel?
まあ、そういうことにしておきま
Let's
す。
call it that for now, shall we?
それにしても、どなたの脳みそもカチンコチンの石ころチーズってわけで
Guess
すね。
this means everyone's brains are as stiff as rock art cheese. Without any signs of restraint, Erika looked at everyone and laughed sarcastically. Only Maria didn't notice the venom in that laugh as she happily turned to the next page. Oh, Mario's
じゃ
right.
あ次の
Next
問題
problem.
ね。3つのコップと6枚のコインがあります。
3 cups, 6
3
coins.
つのコップそれぞれにコインが1枚、2枚、3枚になるように分けてください。
Split up the coins so there's only 1 coin in 1 cup, 2 coins in another cup, and 3 coins in the third cup.
おい
Okay.
おい、そんなの簡単じゃねえかよ。
1, 2, 3.
最初のコップにコインを1枚、次のコップに2枚、
There's
最後の
additional
コップに
rules,
3枚入れ
Jessica.
て出来上がりだぜ。
Nobody's that silly. Easy, just stick 1 coin in the first cup, 2 in the next, 3 in the last one, you're done.
ではそれを5枚のコインでもできるでしょうか。
You do the same thing with 5 coins? Yes.
また陳腐な問題が出てきましたね。
Here's another cliched problem. If I assume you immediately saw the answer, right? If you didn't, the answer is to put the coin with 1 cup. The entire cup, the cup with the 1 coin in it, inside the cup that you want to have 3 coins with 2, resulting in that cup containing 3 coins and 1 cup. And the cup inside it containing 1 coin.
まさか皆さん、この程度の問題にまた
Don't tell me you need to waste several precious seconds on a problem like this. By now, Erika was gazing around with an unpleasant look, acting in a manner that was completely inappropriate for both a guest and for someone of her age. She was no longer a guest who would be staying until the storm passed. She transformed into an annoying guest who wouldn't leave until the storm passed. Everyone thought this, but they were unable to say it aloud.
コインの問題っていうと、
Speaking of problems with coins,
ほら、お箸の使い方がうまいかどうかは、コインをお箸で掴めるかどうかでわか
I
るそう
heard
だね。
picking up coins is a good way of judging someone's skill with chopsticks. Poor George, trying to make everything more comfortable, and Erika making everyone miserable.
お箸
Chopsticks. Ooh, bad choice.
そうです。お箸です。
That's right.
お箸は世界で最も優雅な食器です。
Chopsticks, the most elegant utensil on the
突き
planet.
刺し、引きちぎって口に運ぶナイフとフォークなんて野蛮の極み。
Poking things and chopping them with forks and knives is so barbaric.
お箸こそが最高です。
Are the best.
私の箸使いこそが芸
For
術。
me, using chopsticks is truly an art. Jessica was about to say, aren't chopsticks just sticks? But stopped herself just in time. She realized it'd probably be best to let George take control, and now she's like, damn.
小銭あるけど、ちょっと僕と競争してみない？
I have a coin here. Would you like to challenge me?
僕もお箸の持ち方には厳
Pretty
しい
good
わ
with。chopsticks.
そやな。
That's right.
ジョージの箸は随分厳しく教
We
えたん
trained
や。
George very well with those.
確かにテーブルマナーは育ちが出てしまうものだ。
Table manners are a window into one's
エ
upbringing.
リカさんの持ち方もなかなかに良い。
Erika uses them quite well herself.
俺の小銭も貸してやるぜ。
I'll lend you some coins
枚
too.
数が多い方が面白いだろ。
It's probably more fun with more of them.
ジェシカ、
Jessica.
よく見て覚えなさい。
Watch closely and learn, oof.
うせえぜ。
よし、競争しよう。
Alright, let's
ここにあ
go.
る小銭をどれだけ多く自分のお皿に移せるか。
Let's see who can move the most coins over to their plate.
望むところです。
Bring it on.
お箸、お箸。
Chopsticks. Oh, chopsticks. This time, George had steered the conversation into a good direction. Everyone else understood, and they helped to egg on this chopstick fight and change the subject. They were fully aware by now Erika was extremely proud of her intelligence, and apparently she had the bad habit of using that to look down on other people. She spun her chopsticks around with the deft hand of a juggler, staring at the coins scattered on the table like a dog who'd been told to stay after having a meal placed in front of it. So, does the rat win? I assume the rat wins. The unsettling sound of the wind had now blended in with the sound of rain, mimicking the howl of some monstrous beast, just what seemed to be crying out, sadly. It would suddenly turn into a roar and rattle the windows, striking up even more fear and unease within me. Light from the hallway poured in through the thin crack of the slightly open door. This makes me think this is Battler trapped in here, trying to figure out how to solve this, or someone trying to solve the closed room mystery on this floor. It seemed to carry with it the laughter that was warm and happy but very distant. I'm sure everyone's in the dining hall or somewhere having a good time. I want to go there as soon as I can. I'm sure my family will be there. I hate being all alone in a place like this. Dad, Mom. I stubbornly tried again and again to get that door open, but the merciless chain just wouldn't let it open any further than the crack. On the contrary, feeling this close to a way out made me more impatient. Gulping and trying to ignore the fear lurking behind me, I quietly closed the door. The light coming out of the crack is just a trap. An iron shackle making it look like I'm an inch away from freedom, though the door will never actually open. A shackle trapping me in here for all eternity. I need to get out of this creepy room as soon as possible. When I closed the door, all that filled the room were the eerie sounds of wind and rain. The way the wind picked up every now and then and shook the window frame, it felt like a monster in a cage shaking the bars. I was so scared of that monster I couldn't help but avert my gaze from the window. Gotta search. If I can't get out the door, I need to find another way out. Just to the side of the door was a closet, only enough space inside to hang overcoats. Of course, it didn't connect to anywhere outside the room. If this were hide and seek, it'd probably be fun to hide in there. However, inside the creepy room, it'd be no better than stepping into my own coffin. If I go in there, maybe I'll find myself trapped in the closet next. This fear I didn't understand sent a massive shiver up my spine. I closed the closet door in a hurry. There's one door left. I opened it. There was a bathroom, or a bath and the toilet. Of course, there was no exit. There weren't even any windows. If I turned the faucet, water would probably come out. Then it would disappear down the drain and flow outside, but I couldn't get out that way. Unless I went into the bathtub with the stopper pulled out of the drain and smashed my flesh and bones to bits. I had the feeling this was the only way out. Though the black stopper in the bathtub drain looked extremely terrifying. I tried a lot of things, both mentally and physically, but there really was no chance of me getting out through the bathroom. Next is the window. Beyond the window is a pitch black darkness. The fierce winds and rain are slamming against the glass. The darkness on the other side of the window may have been unsettling, but I didn't really care where I went as long as it got me out of this room. However, the window was clamped shut. Right down the middle of the window, which was made to swing open like a set of double doors, were several ugly metal clamps. It was more unnerving than the chain on the door, like a rough operation scar on some bizarre monster. The wind and rain slammed against the window frame, shaking it and making it creak loudly. However, unlike the door, this wouldn't open even a crack. I've had enough. Give it a rest already. What the hell's going on with this room? I've had enough of this creepy room. It's impossible to go outside except by door and windows. Compared to that thick door, the window looks like it might be possible to break. I'll smash it. If I swing a chair at it, the glass will probably break. I might even be able to smash the wooden grid that runs through these latticed windows. All I need to do is make a gap large enough to slip out of. I grabbed a fancy-looking antique chair and headed back to the window. Smash it. Smash it. Over and over. Over and over. The glass smashed with a violent sound and the frame groaned and creaked. Smash it, smash it, smash it, over and over. If I can just break through the wooden grid. Damn it, what the hell? Even though the glass had been smashed apart, even though the cold wind and rain that blew in tormented me, I couldn't get that grid to break. They weren't iron bars, it was just a slender wooden mesh. Even though it's fragile enough to make that creaking sound, why won't it break? Maybe it's almost broken. What if I try attacking from a different angle instead of smashing it head on? I struck my left hand outside through the hole in the broken latticed window, grabbed the frame from the outside with my right hand, and tried to break it by shaking it around on both sides. My left hand started growing ice cold from the frigid winds and rain. When I shook it, fragments of glass sticking out from the broken frame poked into me, and my wrist was soon stained with blood. If I can just get out of here, this much pain's no big deal. But I can't get out. I'm stuck. It won't open and I can't break it. The more violently I shook the frame, the more the glass fragments tore into my left wrist, causing me intense pain. Wait, huh? Ow, 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 ow. Before I realized it, the glass fragments on the frame had extended outwards. It was as though an ugly beast was trying to chew my hand off with glass teeth. It didn't just feel as though they were growing outwards. They actually were getting longer before my eyes. They're chewing my hands to bits. I desperately tried to pull my hand out, but I'd already dug deep into my wrist. I couldn't move it. I put all my strength into it, but it hurt even more, and the glass didn't even budge. The hell? Let go. Let go. I hit the glass with my right fist over and over, but that just hurt my right fist and did nothing to release my other hand. Just then, my left hand, which was still exposed to the rain outside, brushed against something slimy. What? It couldn't have been a leaf blown about by the winds or anything like that. I mean, it felt like the touch of someone's rain-soaked hand. Then it closed tightly around my left hand. When I felt the 5 fingers, I knew some person out in the darkness was touching my left hand. And yes, I know who it is. It's the witch. The terrifying witch who rules over Rockinjima's night. The 2 hands soaked in the freezing rain gently caressed my left hand. However, though I could tell what was happening by touch, I couldn't see anything out there in the darkness. And then it felt about my fingers and twisted my ring finger upwards. It's gonna break. Ah! At that moment, I saw something in the darkness for the first time. It was white, the darkness, and it grinned. It bared its white teeth. Then that mouth was filled with eerily white teeth, approached my finger that had been twisted up so far it was about to break, and opened wide. It must have been laughing at me from the darkness. After all, that creepy mouth was twisting upward in a huge grin. I had a horrible idea of what it might be trying to do to my finger. A shiver ran up my spine. I resisted as much as I could, but the fangs of the glass just wouldn't release my left hand, and then it gently bit my finger. Flesh and bone were crushed and torn apart in an instant. Crunch, rip, tear, squelch, splat. Rest in peace, one of those fingers, and probably the whole arm. Did you hear something? Just now? I think I heard it too. Sounded like a clunk.
風で窓でもガタついたんだろうぜ。
Probably just the wind hitting a window.
何しろオンボロ屋敷だからな。
This is a beat up old mansion after all.
そういうのってなんだか不気味だよね。
Pretty creepy.
本当に魔女が屋敷の中を歩き回ってるのかなって。
When I was a brat 6 years
6年前
ago,
のガキの頃には随分怯えて夜を過ごしたもんさ。
I remember spending a lot of nights all scared that witch really was walking around the mansion.
いる。
Oh, she exists.
ベアトリーチェはいる。
Beatrice exists.
この廊下の向こうには何があるんですか？
At the other end of this hallway.
あちらには客室がございますが、
There are
今は
guest
使
rooms
ってお
here.
りません。
They aren't being used now.
ゲストハウスができたからね。
After all, we have the guest
それ
house
まで
now.
は客室に僕らは泊まってたんだよ。
Until then, we'd always stay in these guest rooms.
ああ、俺も覚えてるぜ。
Yeah, I remember
今日
too.
のゲストハウスがあまりに綺麗なんで驚いちまった。
When I saw the guest house today, I was surprised at how beautiful it was.
まあ新築だからな。
That's because it was just built.
私も自分の部屋をそっちに移したいもんだぜ。
I wish I could move my own room over there.
シャノン、エリカさんの部屋もゲストハウスでしょ？
Shannon, Erika-san's room is in the guest house too, right?
はい、ゲストハウスにご用意させていただきました。
You prepared a room for her in the guest house.
で、ゲストハウスは屋敷から離れていると。
And since the guest house is a good distance away from the mansion,
どんな事件が起こっても互いには聞こえませんね。
no matter what kind of trouble happens, you can't hear what's going on in one from the other.
やれやれ、まだ探偵モードなのかよ。
Are you still in detective mode?
明日の朝、全員で揃っておはようって言っただけで、がっ
Sounds
かり
like
しち
you'll
まい
be
そうだ
all
ぜ。
sounds like you'll be all bummed when we wake up tomorrow and manage to say good morning to each other.
確かに、さすがに明日の朝には誰かが減ってないと困ります。
At least one of us had better be gone by tomorrow morning.
ねえ。
Right?
それではゲストハウスへご案内します。
Allow me to guide you all to the guest house. This is where it turns out there's one extra person. Tomorrow morning, there's one extra person, and she's just like, what? What? The adults were apparently about to begin a conversation they didn't want the kids to hear. The real family conference was about to start. As the kids and Erika followed Shannon on their way to the guest house, they passed through the entrance hall.
外は今が一番の降りのようだね。
Looks like it's pouring down at its hardest right now.
客までテレビでも見ながら、もう少し降りが弱くなるのを待ってもいいんじゃねえの？
Should we watch TV in the parlor till it dies down a bit?
ゲストハウスに戻りなさいってママに言われた。
Said to go back to the guest house.
ゲストハウスじゃないと怒られ
Erika
る。
or she'll get mad.
おお。
ゲストハウスの方が落ち着けるぜ。
I think we'll be able to relax a lot more over there.
不機嫌な親の声も面もごめん被るぜ。
Better than getting to see and hear our parents get all pissed at us.
ますますにお膳立てが整っているようで。
Looks like everything's falling into place. Erika giggled an openly indiscreet look on her face.
今傘のご用意をいたします。
I'll go get some umbrellas for everyone.
少々お待ちください。
Please wait here.
ちょっと
Wait a second.
ずっと気になってました。
It's been bugging me for a
あ
while.
の肖像画のご婦人はどなたですか？
The woman in that portrait?
まあぶっちゃけ
Well, to be
ベア
honest,
トの肖像画であることは知ってるわけですが、
I already know it's Beato's
前
portrait.
回のゲームでは通り過ぎてしまっただけで面白くなかったので。
Still, we only just walked past it in the last game, which is no fun. Erika whispered to herself, but of course no one heard her.
こちらは親方様の恩人。
This is the master's
ベアト
benefactor,
リーチェ様でございます。
Beatrice-sama.
おじい様に莫大な黄金を授けてくれた
So
後ろ
she's
宮家
gonna go
復興
through
の
this
恩人だそうだよ。
and do the riddle epitaph to try and remove witchcraft from the equation and make it a murder mystery. Is that going to be her strat again? They say she gave grandfather a vast quantity of gold, meaning she's to thank for the Ashiramiya family's revival.
ただのじい様の中の妄想の魔女だぜ。
She's just a witch of grandfather's
こい
delusions.
つの亡霊が夜な夜な屋敷の中を歩き回ってるって話らしいぜ。
Supposedly, her ghost walks the corridors of the mansion every night.
よせよ。
Quit it. Quit it.
俺、小さい頃はその話めちゃくちゃ苦手で。
That story always
こ
freaked
の
me
屋
out
敷
when
の
I
夜
was
は
little.
苦手だったんだ。
Made this mansion feel terrifying after night fell.
そんなこともあったね。
Yeah, that's true.
6年経った今はどう？
But now, 6 years later.
すっかり忘れてたが、この肖像画をまじまじ見てるうちに、
I'd forgotten,
また
but
怖い
looking
気
at the
持ち
portrait
が
head
蘇っ
on,
てきちまったぜ。
I can feel the old fear coming back a bit.
おお。ベアトリーチェは怖くないよ。
Beatrice isn't
敬いを
scary.
持っていればね。
At least as long as you
持っ
respect
て
her.
ないと。ね、
You don't?
シャノン。
Right, Shannon?
はい。使用人たちの間でもそうささやかれています。
Does exist among servants as well.
夜回
Thanks,
りの
Shannon.
使用人たちの間でも時折人影を見たとか黄金の蝶を見たとかいう噂
Rumors
が
of servants patrolling at night, bumping into mysterious silhouettes or gold butterflies. Signs of Beatrice.
去年だか一昨年だかに使用人の人が階段から転げ落ちて
Yeah, was it
大
was it
怪我し
last
て
year
や
or the
め
year
たじゃん。
before? Didn't someone fall down the stairs and get so badly injured they quit?
あれベアトリーチェの呪いだなんてささやかれてな
Isn't
か
there a
ったっ
rumor it was
け？
Beatrice's curse? Jessica told it like a ghost story, trying to scare Erika, but Erika just laughed disdainfully.
なんだよ、薄気味悪いな。
Come on, that's
ただの
creepy.
事故だろ？
It's probably just an accident, right?
偶然だろ？
It wasn't Natsuhi pushing someone else down another flight of stairs and or off a cliff? He's done
お
it
じいさん
before.
がここに肖像画を掲げてすぐのことだから、一昨年のことだと思うよ。
It happened just after grandfather had the portrait hung here. It was probably the year before last.
確か、まさにここの大階段から落ちて怪我をしたんだよね。
In fact, if I remember, this here is the staircase the servant fell down, right?
そうそう。
Yeah, yeah.
このバカでかい肖像画は何しろインパクトあったから。
For all this insanely huge portrait really does
掲げら
stand
れ
out.
てすぐは屋敷中であれは何だと話題になったもんだよ。
Shortly after it was put up, everyone was talking about what it might be.
それでその後すぐにここで事故があったもんだからベアトリーチェの呪いだってことになってさ。
And then, when the accident happened, shortly afterwards, people started calling it Beatrice's curse.
ベアトリーチェの階段云々はこの肖像画の後から？
The ghost stories about Beatrice started after the portrait was put on display?
いえ、
No.
その前からもベアトリーチェ様の霊が歩き回っているというお噂はありました。
First about Beatrice Sama's ghost walking around were around before that.
でもこの肖像画が掲げられてからはもっとそういう話が増えた気がします。
However, I do think those stories grew in number after the portrait was put there. Hold up, when did they put the portrait out there? The year before last. So like right around the time he died? Interesting. No, he died... Yeah, year before last would have been like around when he died. Bit before he died. I think she thinks the stories grew in number after the portrait was put there. Okay.
今までは魔女ベアトリーチェと聞いても具体的なイメージが湧かなかったからだろうね。
Before then, even though they'd heard about the witch Beatrice, they didn't have an actual distinct picture in their heads of what she'd be
この
like.
肖像画によって具体的になり、より一層以後の階段に厚みが出たんだと思うな。
I imagine this portrait made the picture distinct for them, strengthening the rumors even more.
そもそも魔女ベアトリーチェなんて誰が言い出したんです？
So who started talking about this Beatrice witch in the first
じ
place?
いさまだぜ。
Grandfather.
我が最愛の魔女ベアトリーチェ
You'd always start
よく取り
freaking
乱
out
し
and
て叫ん
yelling,
でたから。
My beloved Beatrice!
この肖像画が出てくるまでは顔の想像もつかなかったけど。
Although, until we saw the portrait, we had no idea what she looked
こ
like.
んな薄気味悪い肖像画がでーんと飾られたら、それ階段の一つや二つできて当然だろうぜ。
It's no surprise you'd get one or two ghosts with a creepy portrait like this hanging around.
音楽室のベートーベンの肖像画も、学校創立者の銅像も、みんなちょうどいい階段の音章じゃねえか。
You always find ghost stories cropping up around things like a portrait of Beethoven in the music room or the statue of the school founder.
確かに。
True, true.
こんなに古風な薄暗いお屋敷でずっとこんな風雨の音を聞いていたら、
It wouldn't be strange for a few ghost stories to arise.
そういう階段の一つや二つ生まれてもおかしく
In
は
an
な
old
さそう
gloomy
です。
mansion with the sound of wind and rain present in the background for so
まあ
long.
所詮は階段、妄想、おとぎ話。
Well, it's nothing more than a ghost story, a delusion, a
取
fairy
るに
tale.
も足らない寝ぼけたうつけ者のざれ言以下ですが。
Worth less than the useless drivel of a half-sleeping nitwit. Erika looked up at the portrait and smiled at it hostilely, as though she felt this smile was disrespectful to Beato. Maria's face soured.
おー、ベアトリーチェはいる。
Beatrice exists.
そんなこと言ってるときっとエリカに魔女の呪いがあるよ。
If you say things like that, you'll definitely feel the curse of the witch.
おや、怖い怖い。
Oh my, how
魔女
frightening.
の呪い、大いに望むところですよ。ベア
Curse
ト
me if
リ
you
ーチ
can,
ェ。
Beatrice.
これでエリカが明日の朝変死してたら、魔女殺人事件の幕開けだな。
Well, if we find you mysteriously dead next morning, we'll know it's the curtain raising on a witch's murder case.
おいおい、お前探偵なんだろ？
You're a detective,
探
right?
偵がいきなり殺されるなんて斬新すぎるぜ。
Wouldn't killing the detective off in the beginning be a bit too radical?
おや、それは困りますね。
It would be
現場
troubling.
検証に差し支えます。
That would get in the way of the crime scene investigation.
なるほど。ノックスにも探偵を殺してはならないとは書いてありませ
I
んし。
see. After all, even the Knox rules don't prohibit the detective being killed.
マリア、いいもの持ってる。
I have just what you
ベア
need.
トリーチェの呪いを防げるお守り。
It's a charm that'll protect you from Beatrice's curse.
お守り？
A charm?
そんなのあるのか？
You have a charm or something like that? After fishing around in her bag, Maria pulled out a string of beads attached to a medal that had a scorpion on it. It looked like a cheap prize from an arcade or something.
なんですこれ。
What are these?
魔除けのお守り
Magic
なの。
repelling
効果は
charm.
弱いけれど、これをつけてれば、今夜一晩はきっとベアトリーチェの呪いを避けられるよ。
Effect's weak, but if you use them, you'll definitely be able to avoid Beatrice's curse all night long.
他にも、クモの巣が魔除けに効くとも聞きました。
I've also heard spider webs are useful for repelling magic.
おう、ベアトはきっと蝶の化身だから、クモも苦手なんだね。
Probably because Beato's the incarnation of a butterfly.
あれ？ それは悪事記島の悪霊が苦手な方じゃなかったっけ？
Wait, wasn't it actually the evil spirits of Aku Jikishima that were weak to that?
熊沢さんが詳しいよな、そういうの。
Kumasawa knows a lot of that stuff.
魔女に悪霊
Which is an evil spirit?
少し興味を持ちました。
This is getting interesting.
よかったらゲストハウスでもう少し話を聞かせてもらえませんか？
Do you mind telling me a bit about it in more detail when we get to the guest house?
こちらが皆さんの傘です。お使
Here
い
are
ください。
umbrellas for everyone.
外はまだだいぶ雨が強いのでお気をつけください。
It's still raining very hard outside. Please take care. Shannon handed out the umbrellas she had brought. Everyone headed towards the exit. Man, every time I think of umbrellas, I remember getting my thumb caught in the release of one of them when I was trying to retract it, and it like tore open my whole thumb. That was super annoying. Whenever I look at an umbrella, I'm always like really nervous about using umbrellas. I'm like worried that I'm gonna like split my thumb open again or one of my fingers open if I try to close the umbrella. It's like super annoying. Although thankfully several of the more recent umbrellas have like changed their models, so the release mechanism doesn't suck as much. But yeah, if there's enough reverse tension, you can totally like cut your thumb open with on the silly retraction button you have to press. And then there were none left standing in front of the portrait. A gold butterfly appeared. It expanded out into a golden splash, becoming a human form. In the hall, empty now that the children had left, Beato stood alone and silent, looking up at her own portrait. Without a doubt, the figure depicted there was as like her as an image in a mirror. However, it felt as though its eyes and expression were just a little different from hers. From her perspective, while the person in this portrait was almost infinitely close to herself, it was just as surely a different person entirely.
誰なんでしょう？
Who are you?
私にどうかあなたという人を教えてください。
Tell me what kind of person you are. Beato had already finished reading the fragments from Featherine's library, which showed the tales of all games so far. However, the witch called Beatrice had been depicted in them had been so vastly different from her. At the very end, it looked as though the witch and Battler had connected just a little bit as rivals, but for the most part, Beato had just bullied Battler in nearly all of the tales. Even though it was about her, she had no idea why Beatrice tormented Battler so much when she supposedly had been born for Battler's sake. All she learned from Featherine's library was that the former Beato was a completely different person who defied understanding.
あなたに何があったのですか？
Happened to you.
私はあなたの卵。
I'm an egg of you.
そしてヒナ。
Chick.
あなたの翼はお父様のためにあったはず。
Your wings should have existed for father's
そ
sake.
れがいつ片翼をもがれ、あのように変わり果ててしまったのですか？
Just when did you have one of those torn off and end up so drastically different? She listened to the conversation Battler and the others had just been having. Beatrice can't handle scorpion charms? Beatrice can't deal with spider webs? She wouldn't have wanted to touch either of those by choice, but it wasn't as though anything terrible would happen if she did. Was being perfectly fine when around those proof she wasn't Beatrice? Even though this involved her own self, she didn't understand at all, so she quietly gazed into her own eyes on the portrait. It felt as though the truth hid behind those eyes. Beato slowly approached the portrait and then she lightly touched it. When she did it, it felt as though the portrait rippled slightly. Yes, this is a doorway to the long path that will lead her to the Golden Witch Beatrice. Beato felt a little dizzy. She lost her balance, feeling as though the world was twisting around her. When she couldn't tell which way was up or down, she was swallowed downwards. Plunk. With a soft, watery sound, Beato was sucked into the portrait. Never touch portraits in a game. Come on, guys. We've been there. Surely the at least like the more famous examples, like the Painted World of Oriamis or Super Mario 64 would have taught you not to touch portraits, but here we are. The world inside the portrait was pitch black. However, there was nothing unsettling about it. It was a comfortable darkness, like when you put your head under the covers in bed at night. And Beato realized this was a world inside herself. Despite the darkness, she felt a warm embrace. As long as she asked for nothing, this world would ask nothing of her. But she couldn't remain like this. She didn't want to spend forever inside the darkness of this world. Yes, I need to hatch out of my egg. The darkness is the shell surrounding the gold butterfly called Beatrice.
私は生まれます。
I'll be born
お父様のために。
for father's sake.
バトラお父様のために生き、尽くす
I'll
た
be
めに生
born
まれます。
to live for father's sake and serve him. She took her goal, her reason for being born, and put it in words. As if in response to these words, the seal on the shell began to melt away. Cracks appeared in the darkness, and a brilliant light enveloped the world. Welcome back to the Void Sea. And so Beatrice was born. And there's no poster on the wall, no pillar, no nothing. Huh? Another Beatrice. This one with her hair down, looking much more serious. I stood along with another me. For a second I thought that the me in front of me was the real Beatrice, the one I wanted to be more like. However, she was looking back at me with the same bewildered eyes, so I realized that wasn't quite it. That's right. I wasn't the only one born from that egg. She was also born. Is she my twin? No, it feels a bit different. How do I put it? Both of us are lacking something and immature, yes. Both of us are chicks, but we're also fragments of the true Beatrice. It felt as though we could become the real Beatrice together. No one explained this to us. However, we naturally understood. I decided to talk to this other me. Unless I get to know her and become one with her, I won't be able to become the Beatrice Father's desires. In other words, the thing that Father wants from me, and was so heartbroken to find missing, must be something she has.
こんにちは。
Hello? Sulking Beato. The Beatrice with her hair down looked at me dubiously several times and finally spoke.
どうしてわらわと同じ顔？
Why is your face the same as my own? The true Beatrice also spoke in that manner. It looks like she really does have something I lack.
さあ、それは私にもわかりません。
I don't know why either.
わらわは黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェ。
I am the Golden Witch Beatrice.
そなたは？
And you are?
私もベアトリーチェです。
I am also Beatrice.
後ろ宮バトラに仕えるために生まれてきました。
I am also Beatrice. I was born from the purpose of serving Ushiromiya Battler.
わらわは黄金の魔女にして六軒島の夜の支配者。
I am Golden Witch and ruler of Rockenjima's night.
後ろ宮バトラは知っているが、あのような小僧になぜに仕えねばならぬのか理解に苦しむ。
I know of Ushiromiya Battler, but I have trouble imagining why I should have to serve a brat like him. I realize the thought I had a second ago must have been true. Together we really can become the true Beatrice. Though the person in front of me does have the part that makes her a witch, which I lack, she doesn't possess the mission to live for Ushiromiya Battler's sake. She has what I do not, and I'm sure I have something she does not.
私たちはきっと二人で一人の存在なんです。
Must be both two and yet one single
双
person.
子みたいなものだと思います。
I think we're something like twins.
いいや違う。
No, that is not
そ
so.
なたはわらわの妹だ。
You are my little
わら
sister.
わはそなたが生まれるよりずっと前から
So
ここに
many
いる。
Warawas. I have been here since long before you were born. Hmm? Is that
そ
so?
うだったんですか。
I was born later? Does that mean the mission to live for Ushiromiya Battler's sake was born later on? I don't think my whole existence is something quite as faint and intangible as a mission, though. I have enough of a personality to think and act as I'm doing now. For the Witch Beato and I are separate people, with both of us possessing something the other lacks. In that sense, maybe it's fitting for us to call ourselves sisters, as she says.
私はあなたのことが知りたいんです。
I want to know more about you.
わらわも知りた
I
い。
also wish to know.
そなたもまたわらわであることは 理解している。
I understand you are also me.
そしてなぜにそのような言葉遣いでありバトラに仕えねばならぬのか。
Why is it you speak that way? Why must you serve Battler?
そしてどうやらそれを理解せぬ限りわらわたちは互いに未熟らしい。
Till we grow to understand this, it seems both of us will remain immature.
私は完全なベアトリーチェになりたいんです。
I want to become a complete Beatrice.
わらわはそなたが生まれるまでこれで完全な存在だった。
Until you were born, I was
しか
complete.
しこうしてそなたが現れた今、
However, now that you have
そ
appeared,
なたを受け入れるのが
I
わらわ
believe
の定め
accepting
である
you
ように思う。
is my fate.
わらわもまたそなたのことを知りたい。
I also want to know more about you. The witch Beatho's tone was slightly arrogant, which fitted her self-proclaimed status as the older sister. However, since we both realized we were the same person, there's no need for her to be a bully. She probably realized that after meeting me, her current form was no longer her real self.
ここはどこですか？
Where are we?
お屋敷のホール？
Is this the hall of the mansion? Beato gasped. Her portrait wasn't there. Did this mean that this was at least 2 years in the past?
そうとも。後ろ宮の屋敷のホールである。
Precisely, this is the hall of the Ashiramiya
夜
mansion.
はわらわの時間。
The night is my time.
そして夜の屋敷はわらわのものだ。
And the nighttime mansion is mine as well.
金蔵の間抜けは相変わらずわらわを蘇らせようだの
That
捕
fool
らえようだの
Kinzo.
と躍起になっている。
He's still so desperate to catch or revive
皮
me.
肉な話よ。
That's truly ironic.
そのわらわはこうして堂々と毎晩屋敷を支配しているという
Here
の
I
に
am, openly ruling the mansion every night.
あなたは
So,
ここで何を？
what do you do here?
体を失いあの肉々しい鎮守の社により魔力もない。
I've lost my body due to the effect of that hateful shrine I have no magical energy.
しかしわずかずつに日々魔力は蘇りつつあるのだ。
However, my power is reviving bit by bit every day.
最後には見事復活を遂げあの金蔵を嘲笑ってやりたいぞ。
I can't wait to eventually undergo a spectacular resurrection. Have a good laugh at
わ
Kinzo.
らわは見事そなたの檻を抜け出したとな。
I can't wait to tell him I've succeeded in escaping from his cage.
その笑いだけを楽しみに夜な夜な徘徊して暇つぶしをしている亡霊といったところよ。
So simply put, I'm a ghost, killing time by wandering around the night after night with nothing to look forward to besides teaching that old man a lesson. Sounds like a pretty boring existence.
ご一緒してもいいですか？
May I join you?
無論。
Of course, of course. Beatrice the Elder.
何しろそなたもまたわらわの一部。
After all, you are a part of me.
右腕の同行を断る左腕がどこにいる？
How could the left hand refuse the company of the right?
断る道理もない。
Why should I refuse?
そなたを迎えようぞ。我が妹。
I'll be
新
pleased
し
to
き
have
ベ
you,
ア
my
ト
little
リーチェ
sister.
よ。
New Beatrice. Is Beatrice the younger now? Just regular
ありがとうございます。
Beatrice.
お、
Yep, another Beato. This is getting out of hand. Now there are 2 of them.
お
Thank
姉
you.
様。
One-sama.
こそばゆい呼び
A
方だ。
somewhat embarrassing name.
だが悪くない。
But it's not bad.
さあ、参ろうか。
Well, let's go.
夜の屋敷を散歩しよ
Let's take a walk through the nighttime mansion.
う。わらわの退屈な日常を紹介しようぞ
Let。me introduce you to my boring everyday life. They stalk the halls. They adjust portraits. Leave a couple pieces of dust on one. The 2 Beatrices change their forms to 2 gold butterflies, flitting silently into the depths of the shadowy mansion. There's a lot of Beatos. Lots of Beatos. Far too many. He's meta. Chick Beato. This new One-sama Beato.
私は今でもそうなんですが
Eva Beatrice. NJ Beatrice. Technically Virgilia was one. There's a lot of Beatrices and a good chunk of them are Beatos, yeah. Back then I was, and I guess I still am a bit of a klutz.
よく物をどこに置いたか忘れたり
I always forgot where I'd put things, or think I'd locked something up when I'd actually forgotten.
鍵をかけたつもりが忘れちゃったりとかして
I caused a lot of trouble.
迷惑を
昔はよく夏日おばさんに怒られてたね。
I remember how Aunt Natsuhi used to get mad at you all the time.
でもシャノンは途中から克服したんだぜ。その忘れっぽいの。
Eventually, Shannon managed to overcome all that forgetfulness.
へえ、克服って
Oh, and how'd you do that? Got a trick?
大したことじゃないですけどこまめにメモを残すようにしたんです
Anything big, but I got into the habit of writing things down.
大切なものはどこに置いたのかちゃんとメモして
I'd write down whenever I put something important.
日々繰り返すことはメモにチェックリストを書いて
For things that happen often, I made a checklist and always made sure to check it twice, like Santa.
それで
So,
あなたはベアトリーチェを見たんですか見てないんですか
did you see Beatrice or didn't you?
直接見たわけじゃないんですけど
I didn't see her directly.
But
well,
やっぱりおかしいことがあって
very strange things did happen. She was talking about a certain summer night. Shannon had been doing the nightly rounds, and from her perspective it was a ghost story. From the witch's perspective it was the story of a little summer night's prank. We're getting into this story. There's a lot of stories going on here, man.
我が妹よ
Little sister.
そなたは人間の持つ半魔法の毒を理解しておるか
You understand the anti-magic toxin humans possess?
いいえ
Oh.
何です
Sounds
か
bad. What is it?
お姉様
What is it, One-sama?
うん
Well, you
魔女
see,
の時代はもはや遠い過去
the time of witches has long since
万
passed.
物を支配したとのたまう人間どもは我らの存在を否定する強い毒を持つに至っ
Those
た
vile humans who claim to rule over everything came to deny our existence and possess a powerful toxin.
その毒は私たちには有害なのですか
Is it harmful to us?
極めて危険だ
Extremely dangerous.
浴びれば立ちどころに我らの姿を蒸発させてしまう
If
だ
we
ろ
were
う
exposed to it, our forms would probably evaporate in an instant.
しかし不幸中の幸いなことに我らの存在は未だ極めて希薄だ
However, one thing we do have in our favor is the fact that our existence is still extremely weak.
そのおかげで毒の影響も甚大ではない
Because of that, the toxin doesn't affect us greatly.
せいぜい一時姿を霞にされてしまうくらいだ
At worst, it can only transform us into mist for a time.
しかし好んで浴びたいものではないということですね
However, we'd rather avoid it if we can, right?
その通り
Right, right.
さすがはわらわ
I can see you are indeed
理解
me.
が早い
You catch on quickly. The older sister appeared to be haughty at first, but perhaps she was so happy to have met her double and little sister she was more willing to teach her anything she wanted to know. The first thing she taught was that there were witches, a different type of being than human. Beato thought her inability to use magic meant she wasn't a witch, but apparently she was still a witch nonetheless. She learned that witches, like her, were bound by various limitations, unlike humans. The greatest of these was the anti-magic toxin possessed by humans.
つまり簡単に言えば人間の視界に入ってはならない
In other words, we
と
must
いうことですね
enter a human's field of vision?
その通りだ
Correct.
人間の目は毒を放つものと同じに考え
Think
る
of it as though human eyes radiate the toxin.
奴らに見られるということは身を焼かれるのと同じ
If
こ
they
と
can
だ
see you, it's the same as your body being
そ
burned.
れには劣るが聞かれること気取られることすらも毒を含む
And although the effect is weaker, being heard or sensed can also result in contact with the toxin.
私たちは人間に近づくだけでも大変なのですね。
Even getting close to humans is dangerous to us, and yet you're still living in a mansion. Wasn't Father a human? Why am I not burned by Father's toxin?
我らが魔力を蓄え、それを人間も認めたなら、その毒は限りなく軽減される。
If we stock up magical power and have it acknowledged by humans, the toxin can be reduced
す
drastically.
なわち、我らの存在を認めさせることが、人間たちから毒を失わせ、
In other words, by having our existence acknowledged by humans, we make them lose their
再
toxin.
び彼らの前に降臨することもできるというわ
Making
け
it
だ。
more possible for us to appear before them once again.
なるほど。
I see.
今の私たちは基本的に人間たちのいる間のみに
Simply
存在
put,
できるわけですね。
as we are, we can only exist when humans aren't around.
魔力がまだまだ足りぬわらわたちは
We're still very lacking in magical
人
power.
影に怯え、物陰にこそこそと隠れる野良
It makes
猫
us
にも劣る存
inferior
在と
to
いう
even
わ
a
けよ。
stray cat hiding from humans in the shadows. Sucks to be weaker than a stray cat. The main goal of the older sister was to gain a large supply of magical power and be revived to the Great Witch strong enough to have no fear of the anti-magic toxin. For that purpose, she wandered around the mansion night after night, striving to regain her power and reduce the anti-magic power of the humans. The powerful previous Beatrice, who she read about in Featherine's library, appeared openly in front of humans and had even toyed with them at will. According to her big sister, such a level of power was most impressive.
人前に堂々と姿を現し、魔法を自由自在とな。
To think that a witch could appear openly before humans and use magic at will.
わらわとて想像もつかぬ大魔女の境地よ。
A witch like that would be so great even I can hardly imagine it.
それがわらわたちの未来の姿だという
Is
の
that
か。
what we'll eventually become?
はい。
Yes.
お屋敷の人間たちの前に堂々と姿を現し、魔法や眷属を次々に召喚できる。
It was like a witch from a picture book
まるで
appearing openly
絵本の
before the
中の魔
humans.
女のようですらありました。
Oh my goodness, they're still going. She was like a witch from a picture book appearing openly before the humans of the mansion and summoning magic and underlings at will.
夢のある話だ。
How inspiring.
それがわらわたちの未来ならば、努力に励む張り合いがあるというもの。
Well, if that's our future, that means all our hard work will have been worth the effort.
そうですね。
Right, right.
それでお姉様、
Anyway, One-sama.
そのための努力と、こうして窓の鍵を開けて回ることに、どんな関係
How
が？
is that goal connected to going around unlocking windows like this? It was the middle of the night. They were following behind servants who were checking the locks on the doors and windows, and undoing those locks after the servants thought they had been set. It felt more like a child's prank than the work of a witch.
これこそが大魔女へ至る道なのだ。
Well, this is the path that leads to becoming a great witch.
千里の道も一歩から。
All journeys begin with a single
そ
step.
の一歩は、下せぬ者の目には、時にあまりにみすぼらしくも見えよう。
To those who cannot understand, that first step may look quite foolish from time to time.
しかし、これは偉大なる一歩なのだ。
It's still a momentous first step. With such pride as though making the first step for mankind on the surface of the moon, the older sister undid the lock on a window with a click.
わからぬか、我が妹よ。
Do you not understand, little sister?
これ式のことが、なぜに偉大か。
Can you not see why a little thing like this is momentous? She's affecting the real world and making the servants believe in her existence.
いいえ、お姉様。
No, One-sama?
よくわかりません。
I don't get it. The older sister closed her eyes lightly, smiled, and opened the unlocked window a crack. The cool air outside flowed in, making the curtains
あ
flutter.
えて、人間の毒に満ちた言い方をしよ
To put it in the toxic-filled words of a
う。本
human,
来、この島に我らはいない。
we are not supposed to exist on this island.
さらに言おう。
I'll go further.
この廊下には、誰もいないのだ。
Right now, there is no one in this corridor.
なのに、こうして鍵が開き、窓が開く。
And yet, the lock has been undone and the window
それ
opened.
がどれほどの奇跡であり、魔法であり、そして
You see
我らが
how-
存在する証であるか。
Can you see how great a
わ
miracle,
かるか？
a work of magic, a proof of our existence
そ
this
な
is?
たにも、この風の涼しさがわかるは
Even
ず。
you should understand the coolness of this breeze.
わかります。
I understand.
涼しいです。
It's nice and
風
cool.
の涼しさ、柔らかさ、
The coolness, the softness of the
そ
breeze.
れになびくカーテンが髪をくすぐる感
The
触、
feel of the fluttering curtain touching your
そ
hair.
のすべてが我らが確かにここに存在することを
All
教え
these
て
things show
くれ
we're
るのだ。
truly here.
そして私たちが確かに存在した証を
Yep, yep.
こうして鍵を開けることで
So by
示して残せる。
unlocking this window like this, we can leave behind proof we really did exist.
だから鍵をわらわは開けるのだ。
And that's why I unlocked it. Of course, it wasn't just a small prank like opening a window. She would also smash windows and vases, or leave behind strange fires and mysterious scribbles. She makes a mess, holy shit. In fact, one time she actually did play a large-scale prank in the kitchen, piling the kitchenware in an eerie manner and leaving behind a bizarre scribble, which scared the servants considerably. Writing. It was a complete success. She really managed to scare the servants and succeeded in making them acknowledge the existence of magic, weakening the anti-magic toxin. However, she usually chose to make her presence known by unlocking windows. The act of unlocking symbolized her release from the limitations imposed by the human's toxin.
いつかは
One day,
わらわは、わらわとそなたは一つの魔女となり、
I will know we
六軒島のすべてを支配するだろう。
will become a single witch and rule over all of Rakenshima.
その時こそ我らはすべての自由を得て自在に羽を伸ばすことができるのだ。
When that time comes, we'll gain complete freedom and be capable of stretching our wings as we please. We won't have to be afraid of anyone's gaze anymore. We'll fly wherever we wish, disappear whenever we want. We'll laugh however we like, prank however we like, talk with anyone we want to. Humans might ask of things of us from time to time. They might fight us or play with us too. What wonderful things for us, frail creatures who cannot appear before anyone to look forward to.
今はいたずら程度に過ぎん。
Right now, they might be a little more than pranks. However, as they
こ
pile
れ
up,
の積み重ねによって我らは存在する証を少しずつ得ていく。
proof that we exist will weaken together.
すでに使用人たちはわらわの存在を夜の支配者、
I mean
魔
the
女
servants.
ベアトリーチェと呼び、
The servants already call me the witch Beatrice, master of the night.
その存在をわずかずつだが信
They're
じ
beginning to
始めてい
believe in
る。
me, bit by bit.
信じれば信じるほどその人間の反魔法の毒は
The more they
失われ
believe,
ていく。
the more those humans will lose their anti-magic toxin. I see. So this means that Father has no anti-magic toxin. And that's because he truly believes in the existence of the witch I am without any doubts. I finally realized that, although I thought him to be cold, Father does possess a kindness that can't be seen.
早く大魔女になってみんなの前に現れたいですね。
I'd like to become a great witch and appear in front of everyone soon.
うん。やが
Indeed.
ては誰の前にも堂々と姿を現すことができるだろう。
Eventually we'll be able to appear openly in front of everyone. Anyone.
それを重ね、さらに存在を信じさせ、やがては魔法さえ披露し、
By doing it repeatedly, we'll make people believe in us even more, and eventually we'll display even our magic for all to see.
我らはそなたが話してくれた大魔女として六軒島に君臨するのだ。
And at that time, descend upon Rakenshima as the great witch you told me of.
魔女側の理屈はなかなかに面白
The
い。
logic of the witch side is quite
退
interesting.
屈せぬ。
It keeps me entertained.
信憑性ってあるわよね。
It sounds credible in a way.
ここは幽霊が出る有名な心霊スポットって脅されたら、
When humans are frightened to hear they entered a
木
ghost
の葉が
hotspot,
一枚落ちたって、人間は幽霊が出たと
they're
騒ぐわ。
likely to start yelling ghost, ghost, ghost at the drop of a hat.
そうだ。
That's right.
すべての現象は本来、中立、中性、無味無色だ。
At a fundamental level, all phenomena are neutral, indifferent, and dull.
それを望む受け取り方をさせるには、その環境づくりが必要とな
If you
る。
want them to be viewed in a certain way, you must first create a suitable environment.
カリスマのある人物がたとえ何かを失敗しても、 好意的に解釈されるのと一緒よね。
If a person has charisma, people will interpret what they do in a positive way even when they screw up.
なるほど。
I see.
その意味においては、ベアトたちのささやかな努力は間違ったことではないわね。
I guess in that sense, the Beato's small efforts aren't misguided.
屋敷の鍵が開いていただけなら戸締まりを忘れたか、はたまた誰かのいたずらかで済む問題。
If it was just the mansion's locks being undone, everything could be resolved by saying someone forgot to lock up or it was some kind of
そ
prank.
れが夜な夜な屋敷を魔女が徘徊しているという噂が魔女の存在を少しずつ
However,
形作っていく。
the rumors of a witch wandering about the mansion night after night slowly began taking shape as the existence of the witch.
夜の屋敷でおかしなことが起これば、それはすべて魔女の仕業とみなされる環境の成立。
An environment was established so that if anything strange happened in the mansion at night, it would all be viewed as the work of the witch.
なるほど。そういう論法がまかり通るまでに至ったなら、
I get it. If you follow that reasoning to an extreme,
それはもはや夜の屋敷には魔女がいるのと同然を意味するわ。
then what you get is no different from a witch existing in the mansion at night. After the Beatos finished their mischief of unlocking and opening the window, they enjoyed the coolness of the wind and the brightness of the moon and then became gold butterflies disappearing into the darkness. Interesting, they dissolved from different directions. There was no way of knowing whether the window they had opened had actually been opened by them. The servants might have forgotten to lock up, or one of the family might have opened it again after the servants had locked up and forgot to shut it. Or maybe someone had played a prank. In the same way that none of those possibilities could be denied, it was also impossible to deny the possibility that a witch really had opened a window to enjoy the night breeze. Ah yes, the most likely explanation for a window being left open. A witch wanted to enjoy the night
観測者
breeze.
なき結果は無限の過程を持ちうる。
A result without an observer can possess an endless number of ways in which it may have occurred.
それをたった一つの可能性でしか捉えられない人間には何も想像することができない。
Humans who can't grasp anything more than a single possibility are unable to imagine anything.
しかし魔女の可能性を信じられる者には魔女のいたずらを想像することができる。
However, people who believe in the possibility of a witch can imagine that it was a witch's prank.
その時、今我らが見たベアトリーチェたちのいたずらの光景は事実としてかけらに刻まれる。
Now, when that happens, the scene of the Beatrice's prank that we've just seen is etched into the fragment as a fact.
魔法の原点の一つだわ。
And that's one of the foundations of
家
magic,
庭の虚飾。
embellishing the process. With just a little magic, even a mass-produced stuffed animal can be reborn as a wonderful, unique animal filled with a mother's love. If you doubt it, it'll be burned by the anti-magic toxin. If you believe it, that magic will become the truth.
魔法のすべてが悪いわけじゃない。
But that was quite a sentence for an ellipsis. Not all magic is bad.
マリアお姉ちゃんの言う通りなのよ。
Maria One-chan was
いい
right.
魔法だってある。
Good magic exists too.
邪悪なる魔法を退ける力も人の子には必要だろう。
It may be necessary for a child of man to possess the power to repel evil
し
magic.
かし愛ある魔法を焼いて汚さぬこともまた人の世の愛なのだ。
However, refusing to burn away and defile love-filled magic is part of how love in the human world works.
ま、許せるのはいい魔法だけよ。
Good magic's the only kind I can
そ
forgive.
れ以外はすべて否定して焼き尽くすに限るわ。
For all the other kinds, the best remedy is to deny them and burn them away.
人の子らしい答えだ。
A typical answer for a child of man.
話を戻すわ。ここまででわかることはやはり
Knowing this
ロ
much,
ッケン島の夜の支配者と呼ばれた亡霊ベアトリーチェは存在しないということだわ。
I guess this means the ghost Beatrice who is called the ruler of Rockenjima's night doesn't really
夜の屋
exist.
敷で起こる不可解な現象の総称に過ぎない。
It's nothing more than a general term for any inexplicable occurrences that take place in the mansion
す
after
なわ
dark.
ちベアトリーチェとは人物名ではなく
In other words,
現象名に
Beatrice
過ぎないのよ。
isn't the name of a person, it's the name of a phenomenon. If anything bizarre happens, it's the work of the Golden Witch. That environment in which a wish could exist is what Beatrice
それ
is.
が累積して1986年に至る。
It keeps building on itself until we reach
これこそが
1986.
真犯人が被っているベールなのよ。
This is the veil the true culprit's hiding behind. You're correct, NJ.
そしてそれをかぶっているのは紛れもなく
And the person
人
hiding
間の
behind
誰
it
か
is,
だわ。
without a doubt, a human.
この魔女たちの過去物語の時点ではそうも断言できよ
Perhaps that holds true at this point in the witch's tale of the
う。
past.
しかしその論法だけで1986年も戦い抜けるとは思えぬぞ。
However, I doubt you can use that argument alone to fight all the way through 1986, don't you? And NJ's just like, you want to see me try? She'd go for it. She'd go for it.
バカバカしい。
Ridiculous.
そんなの誰かが戸締まりを忘れたに決まってるじゃないですか。
Isn't that obviously because someone forgot to lock up?
それを言われ
You
る
say that,
と
but
でも一度や二度のことじゃなかったんです。
this isn't something that happened just once or twice.
それはつまりあなたが一度や二度どころじゃないくらいに
In other words, you're a clown.
何度も戸締まりの確認を忘れるドジで間抜けでアンポンタンな使用人ってことじゃないんですか？
And a moron of a servant who forgot to check not once or twice, but many times over.
シャノンだけじゃないよ。
Shannon isn't the
他
only
の
one.
使用人の時にもいつも同じ窓が開いていたんだよ。
That same window was always opened even when other servants did the rounds.
私も母さんに夜に廊下の窓を開けっぱなしにしたことはないかって聞かれて、
Oh, you even asked me if I ever left a window open in the hall at
そん
night.
なのやってないのになんだか怒られたぜ。
I had absolutely nothing to do with it, but she still got pissed.
ベアトリーチェもきっとお月見がしたかったんだね。
Sure, Beatrice wanted to gaze at the...
何度も同じ窓でそういうことがあると薄気
Mari's
に
got
悪
it
いよ
right.
な。
It's a bit creepy to have that happen over and over at the same window.
それに厨房の料理道具が積み上がってて不気味な魔法陣だかの落書きがあったってのは
That time when the kitchenware was piled up in the kitchen with the creepy magic circle scribbled there sounds even more freaky.
血みたいなもので不気味な魔法陣が書かれていたって話で。
They said it was an eerie magic circle drawn with something like blood. Ooh, is this a clue? This sounds like a clue to me, actually. An eerie magic circle drawn with something like blood. Does that mean that it's one of the servants or someone who's normally living in this place that's doing this? I mean, Kumasawa seems like an easy call for this one since she's kind of like a prankster anyway. But actually killing someone seems strange. Maybe she just inspired the markings?
それ以来厨房の見回りも怖がられていて。
Ever since then, people have been scared to patrol the kitchen.
その厨房の不気味な魔法陣事件。
How about the case of the eerie magic circle in the kitchen?
目撃者は誰ですか？
Who witnessed that?
私じゃないです。私は多分辞めちゃった使用人の子に教えてもらったはずです。
I think I heard about it from a servant kid who quit.
その日は私の勤務日じゃなかったし。
I wasn't on duty that day.
つまりはそういうことで
So
す。
it's like this.
心霊スポットに尾ひれがつくように、あなたたち使用人も夜の屋敷の階段を少し面白がったりはしていませんでしたか？
Just like those exaggerated stories you hear about haunted locations all over the world, you servants like to have a little fun telling ghost stories about the nighttime mansion, right?
あなたがそうして魔女が存在するかのように語り、それを伝染させているように。
You talk as though the witch exists and infect others with that belief.
つまりベアトリーチェの仕業ということになってる不気味な出来事はすべて
All the eerie things that are supposedly done by Beatrice are baseless
何かの
rumors.
偶然か事故あるい
Oh, yep.
は面白がって誰かが捏造した根も葉もない噂話
Which are either the result of coincidence, an accident, or something that someone fabricated for fun. Is that what you're
そ
trying
う
to
言い
say?
たいわけか
Probably.
そういうことです。
Exactly.
ベアトリーチェなんて存在するわけがないじゃ
There's
ない
no way
ですか。
Beatrice exists. Stop upsetting Maria. Also, Maria's not getting very upset when people say Beatrice doesn't exist.
ベアトリーチェはいる。
Battlers playing down how irritable Maria is. Beatrice exists.
バトラさんはよくご理解されているようですね。
I'm glad you understand so well,
そう
Bandler-san.
いう名の人間、あるいはそう自称して何かを行った特定または不特定多数の人間は存在するでしょうね。
Probably some person by that name, or else multiple persons of a fixed or unfixed number who do things and attribute it to that name.
しかし、私たちが期待して妄想するような黄金の魔女ベアトリーチェなんていう存在は
However, this delusion of a golden witch Beatrice we're all thinking of
全くにもってありえません。
is completely impossible. Oh, there we go. Maria's not happy about this. Beatrice exists. Or better.
へえ、その話を詳しく教えてはもら
You
え
tell
ま
me
せん
about
か？
that in detail.
あなたはベアトリーチェに会った？
You met Beatrice?
そして魔法を見せてもらったとでも言うんですか？
Did she show you some magic or something?
いつも会ってる。
Yes, I see her all
ヨッ
the
ケン
time.
島に来るたびに会ってるもん。
Every time I come to
そして
Rocketjima,
いつも楽しい魔法を見せてくれるの。
she always shows me fun magic. Denying the existence of the witch would always have the immediate effect of infuriating Maria. However, Erika, who didn't know this trick to avoiding Maria's fury, plunged into it head on. No matter how much Maria tried to sell the idea of Beatrice's existence, she stood no chance of defeating the ruthlessly intelligent Erika in an argument. George and Jessica hurriedly tried to calm Maria down, but there would be no quelling her anger at this point. Good, good.
魔法を使って見せたんです
So she showed you magic?
それがどんな魔法か具体的に教えていただけますか？
いつも魔法でお菓子をプレゼントしてくれる。
She'd always use magic to give me candy
ベ
as
ア
a
とは
present.
魔法でお菓子を生み出すことができる。
Beato can create candy with magic.
ポケットから出しただけじゃないんですか？
Didn't she just take it out of her pocket?
違うもん。
That's not. No, she didn't.
魔法だもん。
It was magic.
すごいんだよ。空っぽのカップの中からいっぱいのキャンディーが湧き出したんだもん。
It was incredible. Tons of candy poured out of an empty cup.
へえ、そりゃすげえ魔
That's
法
some
だな。
awesome magic.
そうだね。確かにそれは魔法だ。
Right, that really would be magic.
そうだよ。魔法だよ。
It was magic.
本当に空っぽだったもん。
It really was empty.
ちゃんと中を確認したもん。
I checked inside myself.
は
Huh?
あ？中を確認したもんって
What do you mean checked
何の
inside?
話です？
エリカさんもよせ
Give
て
it a rest, Erika.
子供の話じゃ
The
ねえかよ
pockets can be magic. You never know what's inside. Of course, she's just a kid.
それよりエリカ様、紅茶のおかわりでもいかがで。
Come to think of it, Erika-sama, would you like some more Good night, my friend.
ノーサン
No,
キューです。
thank you. She offered her tea and she just interrupted her and is
今
like, nah.
大変知的な話をしています。
I'm having a seriously intellectual discussion over here.
外野は黙っているように。
You outsiders can stay out of this.
もっと具体的に教えてください、マリア
Tell
さん。
me more detail, Maria-san.
カップの中をちゃんと確認したとはどういう意味ですか？
What do you mean when you say you checked inside
幸
it?
いここに今ひっくり返って中身が空っぽになったばっかりの紅茶のカップがありますし、
Fortunately, right here we have with us a teacup that's just been overturned and empty.
どうぞこれでその時の状況を再現してくださいません
Go
か？
on, be my guest. Reenact what happened then, okay?
お願いします。さ
Let's see it. If you would, let's see it. After holding the cup of black tea, which she just overturned and was still dripping upside down over the table, Erika slammed it down hard and slid it to Maria. Erika's eyes glowed repulsively like those of a snake about to snap up a frog. The eyes were ice cold and had a madness in them that made one want to avert their gaze. On the other hand, Mari was glaring furiously, her whole body shaking uncontrollably in the greatest expression of anger a human can manage. The look on her face was frightening, not at all what you'd expect from a 9-year-old girl.
お二人とも
Stop it.
おやめください。
Yep, Erika is really desperate for Berncastell's approval. She's gonna crush a 9-year-old in an argument about whether magic exists. Even worse, what if she loses? Can you imagine? Berncastell's like always bored and she's like, did my fucking duplicate just lose to a 9-year-old? Please no. Please no, don't lose. Would you laugh? Would you laugh or just be sad?
ベアトリーチェはね、
Okay.
こうやって
Beatrice took the
空っ
empty
ぽの
cup.
カップをね、
And then she did this.
テーブルの上に逆さに伏せておいたの。
You put it upside down on the table?
はいそれ
And then what?
そのまま開いたら飴玉が溢れ出してきたわけですか。
Did she lift it right up? The candies flowed right
そ
out?
れはすごい。それなら魔法ですよね。
It would be magic, right? It
そ
would
れ
be.
ならば
Battler and the others tried to get between the two and calm them down, but it was no use. They violently pushed aside the others, and glaring at each other from so close that their foreheads banged together, they repeatedly slammed the upside-down cup on the table. The sound of their foreheads banging together and the cup being slapped down shattered the barrier between reality and illusion. Magic. It's magic!
ベアトは魔法でキャンディーを生み出したんだよ。
Beto used magic to make candies appear!
なら再構築してもらいましょうか。
Why don't you reproduce it for us?
マリアージュ・ソルシエル創立者にして原初の魔女のマリア
Founder of Mariage Sorcière Maria, the Witch of Origins!
エリカ卿、取るに足らぬ相手です。
Lady Erika, this opponent is not worth your time.
戦うまでもありません。
This battle is not worth fighting.
お黙りなさい殺人球体観
Shut
察
up,
人形
murder doll!
さあ
Okay.
この伏せたカップの中がどう飴玉で満たされたって言うんです
How do you claim the overturned cup was filled with candy?
カップをひっくり返したってキャンディーは出てこないよ。
Just turning the cup over won't make the candies come out?
魔法を使わなきゃ出てこないもん。
Because you have to use magic.
ベアトは魔女なんだもん。魔法を使うんだもん。
Beto can use magic because she's a witch.
はいはい魔法ですね。
Magic,
魔法を使ったんです
She
ね。
used magic.
どうやって魔法を
How'd she use magic?
魔法のステッキを振るってカップを叩いたら飴玉が溢れ出した
Did she swing a magic wand and tap the cup to make candy pour out? That
違
can't be
い
it,
ま
right?
すよね。違いますよね。
ベアトは魔女だから魔法を使うの。
Beto's a witch, so she used
魔
magic.
法は呪文を唱えて奇跡を起こすの。
Magic happens when you say an incantation and cause a
キャンデ
miracle.
ィーを生み出す魔法も呪文を唱えなきゃ使えない。
Can't use the magic to make candy unless you say the incantation.
はいはい了解。
Good,
グ
good.
ッドですグッドグッド。
Very good.
呪文をどうぞ魔法をどうぞさあさあどんな呪文を魔女はどんな風に
Let's see this incantation. Let's see this magic. Come on, what kind of incantation would a witch use? What kind?
さあさあ思い浮かべてごらんなさい。
Come, try and picture it.
カップの中にキャンディーがいっぱい。
The inside of the cup is filled with
そん
candy.
な素敵なところを思い浮かべてごらんなさい。
Try and picture such a wonder.
へえそれで
Oh, and then what?
ほら、カップの中には
The inside of the cup.
キャンディーがいっぱい。
It's filled with candy. Maria grasped the overturned cup so tightly it nearly cracked and slowly lifted it up. Then, from the inside, several cute candies poured out. Maria looked at Erika with a full smile as if to say that showed you.
グッと
Good,
こ
good.
れがベアトリーチェの魔法だと言うんですね
And this is what you'd like to call Beatrice's magic, is it?
ドラ
Delanor!
ドールブチ
Beat her.
や
Two.
レ
Beth!
ギョイ。
As you wish.
ベアトの魔法は誰にも否定させない。
I would let anyone deny
だ
Beatrice's
って
magic.
魔法は魔法だもん。
Magic is magic.
魔法なんてありえません
Magic is impossible.
あなたがありもしない嘘話をしている可能性があります
You might be telling a lie about something that never happened.
復唱を要求です。
Repetition
これに
demanded.
応じぬ場合、ノックス第7条に違反です。
Failure to respond will be a violation of Nox's 7th.
応じるよ。これは真実だよ。
I'll respond. This is the truth.
これは本当の話。
This is a story of something that really happened.
テーブルやカップに細工があって実は手品だったなんてそんなオチはありませんものね。
Don't have anything to do with the trick in the actual cup or table, making this just sleight of hand,
そ
right?
れは違反ですもんね。
That'd be against the rules, wouldn't it?
秘密の仕掛けと細工はノックス第3条に違反です。
Hidden devices and tricks are in violation of Nox's third. Wait, are you actually Nox's thirding? Sleight of hand?
ただし、
It isn't
その伏
explicitly
線が
written.
示された時のみ、ノックス第8条により許されます。
However, if and only if foreshadowing's been presented, these are permitted by Nox's 8th. Man, I swear to God, fucking everything on the planet violates Nox's rule. Anything involving a pickpocket. That happens like in every fucking story on the planet, I swear to God. Nox's third prohibits hidden doors and devices that have no clues pointing towards them. However, by presenting foreshadowing and clues that point towards the existence of said devices, Nox's 8th allows them to be used.
そんな細工は何もない。
There were no tricks
た
like
だ
that.
のテーブルとカップだよ。
It was an ordinary table and
だから手
cup.
品じゃない、魔法だよ。
So it was magic and not sleight of hand.
了解です。
Understood.
ノックス第9条により、マリア教の魔法目撃は認められます。
By Nox's 9th, we acknowledge that Milady Maria witnessed magic.
そうですよね。第9条ならね。
That's right, with the 9th at least.
観測者はいついかなる時でも視点を語ることが許される。
Observers are always allowed to speak their personal
で
opinion.
なかったら女装した犯人の目撃を女を見たと表記したミステリーは全て失格ってことになりますから。
Otherwise, mysteries where the culprit seen dressed up as a woman and it's written, I saw a woman would be
いいん
disqualified.
ですよ。あなたが魔法を見たと主張しても。
Sure, that's fine. Claim you saw magic all you want.
全ての真実は主張に過ぎない。
All truths are nothing more than claims.
だから私はあなたとは異なる真実を主張し、それをカンパします。
I'll make a different claim and see straight through yours to the truth.
それが探偵の役目。
That's the detective's
で
duty.
すから。
And where we shine the most.
カンパなんてできないよ。だってこれは魔法だもん。
There's nothing to see through. This is magic.
その魔法は魔法ですから魔女にしか使
This
え
is
ないわ
magic.
けですよね。
Only witches can use it, right?
そうだよ。魔女にしか使えないもん。
That's right. Only witches can use it.
では人間の私にも使
So if
え
a
て
human like
し
me can
ま
use
う
it
魔法
too?
ではないということになりますね。
That would mean it isn't magic, right? Wait, Burrito Erika is also a witch. She's already been defined as a witch, right?
お前なんかに使えないよ。
Can't use it. Oh, Mario, you're
あ
gonna
なたに
lose.
しか魔法は使えないもん。
Only Beto can use magic. Good. Well, Badler can
な
use
ら
it. That's gonna be
私
awkward.
がやってみせようじゃありません
So
か。
why don't I show you?
この空のカップの中に飴玉を生み出してお見せし
I'll
ます。
make candy appear from out of this empty cup.
やれるならやってみてよ。
You think you can't just
無
try?
理無理無駄無駄。人間にできるわけがない。
Impossible, useless. There's no way would you do it. Yeah, all that matters for her argument is that Mario does not. Mario can just say, "Oh, I didn't know you were a witch."
なら期待ご期待
Please relax and
ご
watch.
期さあここに空っぽのカップがありま
Here
す
we
よ。
have an empty cup.
よろしいですか。
Is
よ
that
ろし
okay?
いです
Is
ね。
it? It is, right?
それをこうしてテーブル
We
に
turn it over on the
伏せ
table
ま
like
す。
this.
無用の戦いと思わ
Let
れ
it be
る。
known this fight has no purpose. Delanar has no comment.
飴玉を生み出す呪文を唱えますよ。
Can you say the incantation for creating
なん
candy?
なら一緒に唱えますか。
In fact, why don't we say it together?
さあさあ思い浮かべてごらんなさい。
Come, come, try and picture it.
カップの中にキャンディーがいっぱい。
The inside of the cup is filled with
そんな素
candy.
敵なところを思い浮かべてごらんなさい。
Try and picture such a wonder.
ストップ。
Stop.
マリアさん、
Mario-san?
どうしてあなたは呪文を唱えるときに目を閉じるのですか。
Why'd you close your eyes when you said
魔
the
法の
incantation?
奇跡をどうして目撃しないんです。
Why not witness the miracle of magic?
人間は半魔法の毒まみれだからだよ。
Humans are polluted by anti-magic toxin.
いやしい人間が見てたら魔法の奇跡がかき消されちゃう。
If a lowly human saw it, the miracle of magic will be wiped from
だから
existence.
いやしい人間が魔法を使うときには目を閉じなきゃいけない決まりなの。
That's why the rules say lowly humans have to close their eyes when using magic?
なるほどなるほど。人間の魔法に対するお作法。了
I
解しま
understand.
した。
I understand the protocol for humans to follow when magic's being used.
つまりあなたは魔法の瞬間を目撃したことは一度たりともない。そういうことですね。
Not once have you ever witnessed the moment when magic happened, isn't that right?
さあ、出来上がりです。
It's done now.
どうぞ、カップを開けてみてください。
Try and lift the cup, okay?
私がキャンディーを生み出す魔法を使いましたから。
After all, I've used magic to make candies appear.
魔女をバカにするお前なんかにキャンディーの魔法が使えるわけない。
There's no way someone who makes fun of wishes could use candy magic.
では、もしもうまくいってましたら。
That if it actually does work, it'd be pretty amazing, huh? After glaring at Erika with the utmost of malice, Maria slowly stretched her hand out toward the overturned cup. There's no way Erika, someone who made fun of witches like this could ever use magic. There's no way there'd be candy there.
カップの中は
How's it look inside? And there lay a single candy with a cute wrapper. See?
これが魔法ね。
Magic, right? Erika smiled gently. A look of disbelieving shock rose to Maria's eyes, along with envy for this person who could use the same magic as Beato.
エリカも
Erika,
魔法が
you can use magic
使え
too.
るの？
She was declared a witch in the previous title.
ね、魔法でしょ。
It's magic, isn't
こ
it?
れが。
What I did there? Yeah, sure.
ってことはつ
In
ま
other
り。
words, Erika smiled pleasantly. She and Maria had finally reached a deep understanding.
わけねえだ
Of course it isn't.
あんたが目つぶってる間にカップ開けて飴玉放り込んだだけじゃないですか。
While you had your eyes closed, I just lifted the cup up and tossed a
これ
candy in.
が魔法？
You call that magic?
こんなの三流手品でしょうが。
It's just a third-rate trick.
これがまず探偵としての青き真実です。
There's my blue truth as the detective.
そして重ねて真実の魔女としてくれてやります。
And now, as the witch of truth,
赤き
see?
真実を。
She's still the witch. She's still a witch. I told you, she's secretly still a witch, so she could have used magic anyway. Doesn't this defeat your argument, Erika?
あんたの言う飴玉の魔法はただの手品。
Your so-called candy magic is nothing more than a
ベ
sleight of
アト
hand.
リーチェとかいうエセ魔女が魔法と称して見せた単なる手品。
It's just a sleight of hand that the fake witch calling herself Beatrice or whatever claimed was magic.
つうかあんたこの程度の手品で騙されるわけで？
Seriously? Did she get fooled by such a stupid parlor
あん
trick?
たの主観が語る魔法なんてね、全く信用できやしない。
Any magic related by your perspective can't be trusted at all.
あんたが魔法だと思い込んでるものはすべてあなたが種に気づかないだけの手品に過ぎません。
Everything you ever thought was magic was a trick you just didn't get.
魔法なんてあるわけない。存在するわけない。
There's no way that was magic. There's no way magic exists.
このカップにキャンディーを入れたのはエリカの手品かもしれないけど、
Might have been sleight of hand when you put the candy in this
だ
cup.
からといってベアトの魔法も手品だったことの証明
But
に
it
はなら
doesn't
ない
prove
よ。
that Beato's magic was also sleight of hand.
ならば同時に魔法以外では不可能だったことの証明にもなりませんね。
You also can't prove that only magic could have done it. Isn't that a devil's proof? Isn't that a devil's proof? Prove that it's physically impossible in the real world and that only magic could have done it? You have to prove that there's no other possible way
こ
for
の
anything?
腐れぬいぐるみが。
You rotten stuffed animal? Alright.
Please
allow me to speak.
申し上げ立てまつる。
無用の勝負。こ
Note
れま
that
で
this
と
is a
知りたま
meaningless
え。
battle.
この紙切れどもが
God, do you have scraps of paper?
いいところで邪魔を。
Why do you have to butt into the good part?
これで十分です。
That is
カッ
enough.
プの中にキャンディーを表す魔法についてはマリア教に 手品であっても魔法だと誤解する可能性があることが示されました。
Lady Mari has been shown the candy cup magic could possibly be a trick she misunderstood to be magic.
よって魔法であるとの主張は却下されます。
Therefore, her claim it was magic is dismissed.
でもマリアの時は本当に魔法だったかもしれないよ。
You're right, merely have been magic when
手
Mario
品
saw
が
it.
存在することが魔法を否定することにはならない。
Just because it could be done by sleight of hand doesn't disprove magic.
エリカ教、お見事です。
Well done, Erika.
見事、マリア教の魔女幻想を打ち破りました。
How can you claim to be the Witch of Truth and use your title to use red to deny the existence of what you claim to be? Make your argument in the first place. She also just used the red to say magic isn't real, so theoretically the entire game's over. Immediately, because she was able to use red to declare magic false. Which you're not allowed to do. Let's see. Yeah, yes. There is no way magic exists was spoken in red, therefore magic is not real and this game is over. So, Erika should theoretically be, immediately have ended the game by using red. Did Erika not just end the entire game by saying there's no way magic exists in red? Using the power of a witch to deny magic? That wasn't in red? Do I need to go back and find that? I'm pretty sure she just said all of that in red, which is... There is no way that magic exists is a statement in red that says there is no physically possible way for magic to exist. If it's a statement in red, that is not a perspective statement, that's an objective truth statement. That means there is no way for magic to exist. Therefore, it doesn't exist. Interesting how she can use red to deny magic, ending the game immediately, as wasn't that the whole point? To prove that it was supernatural? Oh well. We're on some other level now. Whatever. Congratulations on crushing Lady Maria's illusion of the witch. Good job, Lady Erika. An illusion of the witch occurs when someone tries to force the acknowledgement of magic by claiming a thing would be impossible without it. It's how witches launch an attack, and if someone's able to successfully argue back and show it would be possible without magic, the illusion of the witch is defeated and the witch must retreat. The magic Maria claimed to have seen could have been a trick, so it was unqualified to be acknowledged as magic. However, there was only the only result of the battle. It's too early to bring the fight into the domain of denying Beatrice, the witch, and the magic that Maria believed in. However, battles always end instantly when your opponent surrenders. Erika wanted to hit Maria with everything at once, defiling the witch and magic she believed in by crushing it without a fragment of compassion.
あと一歩で波が引いた後のまっさらな砂浜みたいな無垢なハートをズタズタに引き裂いてやれたのに。
One more step, and I'd have been able to take a heart as innocent and as the smooth sand just after a wave pulled back and tear it to bits.
残念です。
What a shame.
今日が覚めました。
It's not fun
これで
anymore.
満足。
Satisfied now? Oh, was it blue? Erika grumpily punched Eleanor's arm that had been restraining her. However, that cold, hard, marble-like arm... I wish they would... I don't know why they don't do this, but I really wish they would let you scroll backwards to see what color the fucking text is, considering text color matters. Like, why is it yellow? Do a standard log, you dumbasses, so I can read the color. Alright, that cold, hard, marble-like arm just made Erika's hand hurt.
外交官特権。
Diplomatic
この
immunity.
勝負
The
は
battle
も
is
うお
over.
しまい。
近景
Allow me to
外
speak.
交官特権
Diplomatic
了承
immunity
するもの
accepted.
なり。
意図大人げない
No, that
戦
this
い
fight
と
is
知りたまうもの
childish.
なり。
何か言いました？
Did you say something?
何も
You did
引
not.
き上げましょう。
Let us
マ
withdraw.
リア教
Ah,
な
that was the
ど
only red?
所
I
詮はエ
see.
リカ教の敵ではあり
I
ませ
thought
ん。
she used like an entire page of red at some point. At that point, my bad. Lady Maria was no enemy of yours, Lady Erika.
この程度の雑魚見逃したとて問題はありますまい。
There's no need to pay any attention to small fry like this.
そうですね。
You're right.
子供の夢を引き裂くなんて、私も随分と大人げないことしちゃったものです。
Right. How childish of me, tearing a kid's dream apart. Isn't that what you like to do for fun?
本当にごめんなさい。
I'm really sorry, okay?
私にしてはエレガントじゃなかった
I
ことをお詫び
apologize
し
for my
ます。
momentary lack of elegance.
行きましょう。
You know, it would be nice if they just told her to get the fuck out of here and stay in her room for the rest of the evening, but then due to her detective powers, she would actually be allowed to leave anyway. Because she'd be obligated to know everything. Erika and the others turned their backs on Maria, who is still crouching down limply. However, as detectives in famous mysteries have always done in the past, Erika clapped her hands, stopped, and turned around.
そうそう。
Oh, that's right.
いかがです？
What do you think?
ただカップが伏せてあるだけで。
Simply by the existence of the overturned cup? I mean, anyway, Erika used red anyway, so Erika's a witch anyway, which is cheating, but
フ
sure.
ルドエリカはこの程度の推理
This
が
level
可
of
能
reasoning
で
was
す。
possible for Furuto Erika. So if Erika can use red in all arguments, then can't she not just red her way to victory again?
いかがです？
Kind of annoying, but alright. What do you think, everyone? Erika's merciless words gouged themselves into Maria's heart once more. I don't know why her use of red was not immediately struck down for being a normal person using red. Which is kind of annoying, but whatever. She's not supposed to be able to use red even if red is given to her, but here we are watching her use red because she's a witch, so she can always use red, I guess. Which is kind of silly because then she can just why does she even need to interact with Battler at any point in the story when she can just witness the story and then red text her way to winning? Because she has all the red and blue she needs. Oh, this rules for red text are really stupid. She's a witch, so she doesn't require evidence or any information. She can just make statements blindly, and if they're correct, they'll be said. Erika left, leaving an evil lamp behind her. She didn't know the truth of the story, but she's using the red here anyway. That's the whole point. After bowing to Maria and Sektaro, Delanor left too. You have to be human. She's the detective, but she's using witch powers. The ruling was she can't use red truth because she's supposed to be human, but she's a witch, right? So she can say all the red she wants. And her reds don't require proof. Because you have to use you need proof of your reds if you're you only need proof of your reds if you're human. Oh well, whatever. After bowing to Maria and Sektaro, Delanor left too. Gertrude and Cornelia followed suit. After that, only Maria and Sektaro were left in the lonely garden land. Beato's a witch. Beato's a witch. It was magic. It was magic. It was magic. Beato used magic to give you candy. You don't need to doubt it. Please believe in Beato. You know magic can't bear fruit unless you believe. I mean, we learned the most useful thing we needed to learn out of that scene is that she can use red in this scenario. Is that Erika can use red even though she's playing the role of detective directly now. Due to her promotion to witch, she knows that she's able to use red on demand. So that will be interesting, as she doesn't need to reason things, or she can use red text and then derive, from the solution, derive how things were acquired, which should make it very difficult to beat her, but I guess we'll see where it goes. surrounded by an ice-cold drizzle. It started falling at some point. Maria cried quietly. Trying to at least protect her from the rain, Zaktaro used his large sleeves to cover Maria's head and stayed there by her side. Okay, let's go. Alright, well, we witnessed Erika bullying a literal 9-year-old. You know, I'd make fun of them for... I'd probably make fun of them for bullying someone like a 12-year-old, but here we are bullying someone who's like barely able to form coherent sentences. Fun times. We'll have to see what annoying bullshit Erika does that she can get away with because she has super detective powers that make it required for her to be able to see everything, no exceptions. Later? It won't be tonight.